Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to this week's edition of GKP Live. Hope everybody's good. Usual thing, guys. We'll be right back after this.
Keep smiling.
Welcome back. Hope everybody's good. How you doing, Daz?
Fine, thanks. Yeah, ready to go.
How you doing, Vic? You good?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Usual thing, guys. If anybody would like to join us this evening, up at the top you will see there's a little link there. We can have, I believe it's 11 people, including myself, or it's 10 people, including myself. Not really tested the theory yet and had that many people on, but we shall find out. We've got a few people there. That says one that's Facebook user. I was popping the little hellos in from everybody. We've got Elizabeth, who's all the way from Virginia, says 2:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. And then we've got Keith's Coy Haven, which is 2:30 here as well. Thank you very much for joining us in the afternoon. There are some changes, as you can see, guys. There is no Vince. He decided last week that he was going to go his own way. So we are moving forward and moving on. Rick will still be joining us though. He has it's Christmas due, and he's decided that he's going to go out on Lash and have a few bevies with his mates. Obviously celebrate Christmas. But as from that, other than that, we should be moving forward and continuing with things as normal. We've got a couple of topics this evening, but not a great deal, to be fair. We're also going to be doing the Karashigoi appreciation.
Yeah.
And when we've done the Karashigoi appreciation, we could do with someone that's going to do us a favour and pick us the next one, because after the Karashigoi, we have none left. We have no more actual fish that have been picked and selected for us to have a look at and have a nosy at. So if anybody would like to come on and pick a fish and join us this evening, feel free to do so. You're all more than welcome. Topics that we've got, or anybody else has got any topics that they would like us to talk about this evening or have a natter about, do us a huge favour, bang them down in capital letters, and then hopefully that way we can spot them as we go through tonight's comments.
And we'll have a live bowling up with some Japanese koi tonight.
Yes, we do, yeah. A live bowling up with some Japanese koi.
I can't wait.
You'll see why I'm laughing slightly later. What we are going to do, as well as, if we can, well, I'm going to mention, there's 89 people on, so I think that's a good shout out at present. And hopefully, if anybody else does see it, then they'll get to spot it later on. Coming up next, let me double check before I do say it and get it wrong. I want to make sure that I get it right for them and make sure it's the right night, right evening. Yeah, 18th of December at 8 p.m. And I don't know whereabouts it's or what channel it's actually going to be shared on, but I'm guessing that will be more explanatory as the time comes up. But we do have, I'll share this second screen for you. Another event coming up for the koi community, and that is this one. The only Finns Pond and Koi Group are doing a live huge giveaway, free giveaway, set games and koi and general chat, and it kicks off at 8 p.m. That's I believe 18th of December. What day will that be? What day is that? Let's double check. 18th is next Monday. So next Monday, get yourselves over here, guys. There's tons. There's over, I think, over £1,000 worth of gifts to give away, and the last one is also going to be one of these. Now that does. How do you pronounce this?
Hang on, I can't even read it. Let me pronounce it.
Is it
Cactoli?
Catoli. I think it's 7-in-1 or 6-in-1 water pond testing units, and one of those is actually available for all those people that have been good enough to give to Mark Country Koi's charity. So everybody that has will be entered into a giveaway for that too. I believe that's what it said on the email. Please correct me, Phil, if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'd like to see you all there on Monday night, 18th of December. We've got Eden Koi Pond, Telford Koi Pond, Up North Koi Pond, Seabers Pond, Koi Ponics, and Sam Hirchcliffe. I think that's right. Sorry, Sam, if I got it wrong.
Is it?
And they're all going to be heading the evening and giving away these free bits and bats, games and general koi chat. Good luck to you guys. Hope it all goes well for the evening. I will see you there.
We will.
Hopefully, that's a good enough shout out for them. And it's at the beginning where there's quite a few people and not at the end where most people start to drop off. So, right then, what have we got? Anybody? I need to talk about condensation in the conservatory. Oh, there we go. We got the man himself, our Dave from Eden Koi Pond. I don't know if he knows he's there yet. I don't know if either that or that's just a still shot photo of him in the background. There we go. I don't know whose channel it's been done on, mate. I don't know if it's going on yours, Phil's, or whichever. If you want to explain a little bit more, or not.
Or not. I'm sure we'll be back.
Yeah, camera shy.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll come back on and let us know a little bit more. But Canon and Lenses camera says, I need to talk about condensation in the conservatory from open pond. Has anyone experienced this mold growing in the roof walls because of this? Is the reason fish tanks have lids?
Is this the reason fish tanks have lids?
One of
Well,
them.
no, because you still get evaporation and condensation. I still get evaporation with a fish tank link on my pond as well. So
Yeah.
now then, Dave, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my internet went.
It's all right. I was just saying, do you know? I don't know whose channel it's on, mate. For your event that you're doing, is it going to be
No.
on yours? Is it going to be on Phil's, or is it going to be on an independent one?
No, it'll go from my channel for the Christmas special. It's something we're going to pick up probably in the new year as well. But for this one, just trialing it, it'll be through my channel. So yeah, keep an eye out. I will release. I said to the others that I would put a video out this week, but I just haven't had time. But tomorrow I'm going to stick something up explaining a bit more about it because at the moment Phil's the others are ahead. I'm not. I'm behind, so I need to catch up.
Well, Phil did drop it and mention it in his last video, and I did say to him in comments. I dropped him a comment, so I'd give you a shout out and give it a mention. End of the day, it's a nice prize evening and entertaining even for anybody to be a part of, mate. And there's more for us to watch online, learn a bit of something new, and have a natter and a chat. So it can't be a bad thing, can it?
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, it's just there's 6 of us in the WhatsApp group, and I used to have the Evolution Aqua group, and we just thought it makes sense to put it all together and do it that way. So so they're a good bunch. It should be a good laugh. I'll try and behave myself, and I know the others will. There's just honestly we can't. But I mean, Phil is a machine when it comes to getting prizes out of people, out of companies. Phil was an absolute machine. So some of the prizes we've got are incredible. The generosity has been fantastic. So yeah, no, really chuffed. Yeah.
And was I right in saying about the last, that new 6-in-1 thing? If that one's something that's going to be available to people that have made a donation to Mark Country Toys.
So we're really keen. So Mark's going through a real bad time at the moment, and he's not good, bless him. The future is going to be difficult for him and the family. So we set the GoFundMe up, or whatever it's called. It's not moved hugely quick, but we've not pushed it a huge amount. But what we want to do on the night is the Cactoilis. It's the 7-in-1, so it's not the one that we've all seen a lot of on YouTube. It's actually the Wi-Fi model, which is I think it's 150 odd quid at the moment. So what we're going to do, anybody on the night that donates, and it doesn't matter how much, if Christmas is near, we understand that people, things this time of year are really tight. So any donation is welcome. Anybody that does donate on the night, they'll be entered into a draw for the last prize, and that'll be the Cactoilis 7-in-1 pond monitor.
Yeah. I just reading your little comment there, mate, where it says, crikey, I'd forgotten how long this intro is. Right, I'm going to give you a tip, mate. Make sure you've got a long intro. Make sure you've got one over 3 minutes, because if anybody comes in and drops an F-bomb, you're demonetized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but if you don't swear within the 3 minutes, then you can monetize your actual live, and you'll get paid for every view that you get from there on in.
That's
you only get
comments.
Partial monetization for companies that don't like swear words or don't like anything like partial nudity or like that. If you have any of that in within the first 3 minutes, gone.
So for the night, if any money I do make off of the channel, it will go in Mark's pot anyway. So that's pretty important. I'm not fussed. None of the group are interested in the monetization side of things. It's just it doesn't register us really. We just want to go on and have a good laugh. And I think everybody's had a pretty crappy year this year, haven't they? It's been tough for everyone. So if we can end the season by giving, for example, there's I think Phil put in the group chat. There's 3 bags of Awaza pond pads. We've got. God, what have we got? We've got Phil. Help me out in the comments here. We got nets from Northine Nets. We've got various food packages from different companies. I know Supreme Koi, Icklesham Koi. I know Mad Dog supplied us with some food to give away. We've got the Koi Control app. There's 5 of those premium to give away. Honestly, there's absolutely stacks of stuff. We can't, but the list, it was getting to the point where we was actually going to have to stop asking for stuff because there was too much.
But it's still nice, mate, to get something and give something back to the community, isn't it? All those that follow and support and all the rest of it.
Don't get to do it often, and like I say, everybody's had a pretty shocking year this year, so it'd be nice just to see some smiles on them before Christmas. And not everybody can afford the bits and pieces, so hopefully they'll go to some good homes.
Fingers crossed. Hope it all goes well for you, bud.
Thank you, and thank you for the shout out. It means a lot.
No, not a problem, mate. At the end of the day, this is what a community is supposed to be about, isn't it? We all help each other. If we can grow the community and people get more things to watch, which is entertaining, and more stuff out about koi, and more people getting together and having a good time, that's what it's about. That's what it should be about.
Yeah, definitely. And then it takes us into next year, doesn't it, on a better scale. I think there was a lot of problems in the koi community at the start of this year, weren't there? And it'd be nice to go into next year where everybody's sort of on the same level.
Yeah.
There's plenty of friendships there and camaraderie, and we just get on with the season. Because there's enough problems with keeping koi as it is. We don't need anything else.
Tell me about it.
It hasn't been the easiest of years again, has it? Everybody's been having problems. Everybody's been having parasites. At the back end of last year, coming into the beginning of this year, everybody worrying sick about whether or not they're going to have bacterial issues and everything else. Well, you've been lucky if you've not been affected by some of it, if not all of it. Which has been a bit of a crap one.
Yeah, no, agreed. But Phil, I don't know, where is Phil? Should get him on, really. Philip, where are you? Don't tell him, but feels like the father figure of the group.
I hate it when my watch does that. It's just literally dictated every single word I said then. Is he in? Is he in?
He was in the comments. Yeah, he's definitely there somewhere. But yeah, don't tell him. But he is the father figure of the group, so he's the one we all look to for help and keeping us online, behave.
Yeah.
He is in. He is there. Telford Coipon is there. Is at bottom. He's just you scared him off the set.
There we go.
Evening, bud. Right, well, we have got a couple of questions coming in there. Elizabeth R says, do koi fins regenerate after an injury? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But if you're unheated, it's a far slower process. I can tell you, the little koi that I put in my tank, it had a split dorsal. And at present, that is running. Oh, there we go. Phil's here as well. Come on, then, Phil, because you can put him right in the bits what he might be wrong about and help him out. But yeah, they do definitely. I had a little split in its fin after 2 days of being in the tank. That split had re-healed back together. So if you've got bits or sections missing, then they will take longer to heal. But with heat, it's a faster process.
What temp is your tank at, Gaz?
My tank is at 27 degrees.
Crikey.
Yeah.
It's tropical, so.
Okay, yeah.
It's got a couple of tropical fish in there. I just didn't have very many of them. So I acclimated the fish from outside at like 2, 3, 4 degrees and brought it up over a full day to about 24 degrees. And then each day I've just took it up a degree now to get it back to the same as what the tropicals would prefer to be at. And it's,
my indoor tropical tank that we used to have, as the tropicals have died off. I don't know if you've grown on fry before. Has anyone grown on fry?
Yeah.
You get the ones. You got the ones that don't grow beyond about 2.5 inches, haven't you?
Yeah.
So we just put them in the tank indoors, and it's just full of like odds and sods. It's quite nice, really. Do you think a question low KH and koi rehabilitation? I suppose. Do we think low KH? Because this is a question that keeps coming up lately. What's everyone's opinion on low KH and how quick a koi will repair itself?
Repair itself faster with a low KH, or
no, with a higher KH.
With a higher KH,
yeah,
because if it's low, you end up having more higher ammonia, don't you? With a lower KH, and then you
pH crash.
You ended up going in for a pH crash then. Which is what happened to me at the beginning of, summer, back end midsummer this year. That's what happened to me. I forgot to keep adding my buffer in. And every time I was water changing, my water's got 0 KH, none at all. So every time I kept adding and doing a water change, taking 600 litres out of the pond and topping it back up, all I was doing was flushing my KH out even more so. Yeah. Spent 3 weekends going away doing that and just doing bits and bats going out, and then one weekend come home and it crashed completely.
But your tap water, the KH in your tap water dropped through the floor, hasn't it, guys?
Yeah, it has. It's gone from it was a steady 7 or 8, and now it's dropped from 7 or 8 down to 2 last year, and this season it's been 0 all the way through it.
So always
be careful and buffer it back up all the time.
My KH is only one out of the tank. Do you buffer up with bicarbonate?
Yeah, I have to do it
same.
every time. I normally add about 100 grams a week to keep it pretty steady.
Yeah.
But that's, thereabouts. 50 to 100 grams normally sort of keeps it about 7 or 8 consistently then. But,
you all right down there, Phil?
Depends whereabouts you are in the country. I mean, me and Vicky, our tap water goes through clay, so it's high, the KHs, which is great for fish.
I don't touch mine at all.
I
Leave
don't
it as it is.
Mine was about
Less I have to
200
do to
something.
it, all the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
but you're lucky if you can though. But Mike's was the same. He's dropped, and his was a steady 7, 8-ish, and he's dropped the same over last season and this season, just the same as mine. So now we've both been buffering up for the last year and a half, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but once you remember it's a weekly thing, you're pretty straightforward. You just buy it in great big 25 kg sack of it, rather than messing around with branded products instead.
I'm just wondering if I could just get you to bottle a couple of 1,000 litres a week and send it down.
Was yours high then?
No, mine's really low. So out the tap, it's 1. So yeah, every time I'm doing water changes, obviously bringing it back down. But I'm the same as you. I buffer up to about 6, 7, consistent.
Yeah.
Santa's here.
G'day.
Evening, Tony.
Evening.
I tried to keep mine consistently between 7 and 8 if I can do, and I do a regular check on it. That's the only thing I would like about that thing if it did a KH reading as well. But does the Blue Lab do your KH, Phil?
No.
No.
No,
that
it's
just do?
TDS and electrics, temperature and pH. So now whoever invents one that does ammonia, nitrite and KH, the test we all do independently with our colour strips or our hands. Whoever comes up with that is going to make a mint.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
There is one out there, isn't it? But it is literally thousands and thousands of pounds.
Right.
But Blue Lab do one, but it's about $4,500. It operates on the same principle. Probes just stick in your water, but there's not a lot of us got that sort of money to throw at our ponds for a water tester, have we?
Tony looks great in his Santa.
Tony's got an admirer.
Elizabeth Farr says Tony looks great in his Santa's hat.
Only his Santa's hat.
Yeah, enormous.
Oh, I got a bit more on than that.
Is there any more you would like to add, Phil? Did I hopefully, fingers crossed, mate, I got that right there, but I would like, obviously, it's a nice event, a good thing, good prizes and all that rest of it. Is there any more? You feel you've got 124 people watching, so feel free to give it a plug, mate, more than what I did.
You've done us proud, guys. I think Dave sort of knocked the nail on the head. There's nothing hidden. There's nothing behind this. We just went out and just to see how much we could blag from the the people we've all been paying money to all season for various things. They were extremely kind. I mean, you can just there's a bit of stuff behind, including I've got the cat toilet thing that we've been talking about. There's testers, pH testers, food, free draws in fish. There's nets. There's a whole raft of stuff there.
Oh, yeah, actually, it's probably worth it. We got what's the £25 voucher where that's where Sam went?
I'm just trying to look at all the pictures. There's bloody loads and loads. Oaks Koi, is that one?
Oaks Koi, that's it. So we got £25 voucher.
That's up in sort of like Preston area, isn't it?
Yeah.
We got £100 voucher off a CWD, didn't we?
Yeah. Anything on his site, £100.
Yeah, and I think Ant is in here tonight, or he's coming back a bit later on. We've got the Perfect Aquatics, so we've got the mystery gift cards.
Yeah.
You've got the Koi Water Barn, Westcroft Koi, Reefer Oasis, Perfect Aquatics, Evolution Aqua, NT Labs, Oase, Icklesham Koi, is that right?
Icklesham, yeah.
Yeah, Icklesham, yeah.
Kashuri, And
yeah,
the
because
other one, what's the thing called for your monitoring of your fish in your pond?
Cactoily.
No, the
Koi
thing
control.
for koi control.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me a minute.
Will's Coin Bonsai as well has donated an absolutely fantastic water bonsai.
I've forgotten about that. That's brilliant.
Good
that,
old
isn't it?
Uncle
Lovely.
Will.
And I did partly unwrap it on the floor down there. I did partly unwrap it and thought, well, should I just pretend it never arrived and just keep it off camera? It's very nice. But no, the key thing is, as I say, there's now catches, there's now questions. If you're interested in winning something at the end of the day, well, what we're going to, I mean, David explained all this in the video we put out, but basically all we're going to do is pick a prize. We'll spend 5 minutes talking about that prize, and that 5 minutes, basically, if you want to win the chance of winning it, you just put hashtag whatever it is in the comments, and then at the end of that 5 minutes, we do the wheel of death, and somebody wins it, and we move on to the next prize. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So yeah, should be a laugh.
Yeah.
What
I
could
had
go
to just
wrong,
get up
Phil?
then to open the living room door because he were howling in the living room, thinking he were on his own.
Oh.
Bless.
Go on.
That 7-in-1 tester that you were mentioning, I think Derby Koi also done a review of it, and I put a comment on his that I'd really be interested in that if it connected to the home network. If it connected to the home network and also had an app that recorded its results automatically, then I'd be quite interested.
I think Derby was the 6-in-1, wasn't he? Whereas this is the newer 7-in-1.
Yeah, I think it was.
He's just changed to the wireless one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think the app is in development now. I think the app will be coming out shortly.
I mean, I know you're doing it for your channel, Phil, but what do you think? Right, my question for you is,
Go on.
with yours being RO water, what is
Yeah.
it really to test?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the Blue Lab Guardian gives me what I
Everything.
really wanted as a basic test parameter. And let's be honest, those Blue Lab Guardians are pretty indestructible. You know, they've got a really good rep, and mine's been running for 2 years faultlessly. This one just does a little bit more because it does the oxygen in the water, which everybody sort of seems to be in at the minute, the self-cleaning function of the water. The electric capacity as well, and all sorts of things. I think, as I say in my video, the problem we've got, guys, is that none of us are physicians. So it's, although you can measure all these things, you don't really have to. It really is just, if you're a little bit of a geek like me, I've just got a
It's
genuine
interesting.
interest
I
in
get
water
that side
chemistry.
of it. Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there, as you know, they don't test anything, and their ponds are fantastic, and they don't have any problems at all.
Yeah.
People out there that test everything every week to within an inch of its life, and they're constantly having problems and this, that, and the other. Yeah.
Well, I don't test a lot.
They've been quite clever with who they sent them out to, because Sai, you would have seen up north, Koi Pond's got one as well. So Sai is very scientific, so he's looking at the site. Like Phil said, he's quite techie. I've got one, and they were quite open in speaking because I'm lazy. So I've got it to show that you can be lazy and still see bits and pieces. So they've been quite smart. But it's worth noting, so it is very much in development. So they've come direct from the manufacturer in Asia. So they're not actually a finished unit yet, and I think they're very much looking for feedback so they can still improve it.
Yeah.
So it's something that they're still developing and going to keep working from for the more feedback they get back. That's good. That Koi guy's asked, how's that Shuro doing you got from Lee, Phil? Beautiful Koi.
I think every time I see him or talk to him, he's still regretting it. But it's doing absolutely super. The problem with that in Lee's pond, it wasn't one of his bigger Koi. So it was a little bit being bullied out of the food and having to wait his turn, whereas in my pond, it's the same size as the others, basically. So it just eats like an absolute animal. skin quality on it, the sumi in this temperature is just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, really, really pleased with it. Doing great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you want? I should be getting 4 new ones very shortly, hopefully. Maybe if depending on deliveries, it may be pushing into spring next year, depending on what we can get sorted. But I have a couple of new ones coming from New Forest Koi myself. I have a red kajaku, a snow white asagi,
Very nice.
a yamabuke, and a Deutsch kin matsuba.
What size are they, Gary?
Rookie.
They're all sort of 27 to 30-ish.
Oh, good
I think the
size.
biggest maybe about 35, so they're all of a decent size to replace the ones in my pond that aren't really up to the crack. As in, I want to get some slightly better looking fish, and I've got a couple of nice ones and others that I can move on, or others that I can just gift my dad again, because he had a pH crash and he lost 4. So rather than leaving him with no, I've given him 2 out of mine. My dad loves just keeping fish. He ain't bothered what comes up. I mean, he's got his front garden's full of goldfish, with the odd little. He likes to buy. He likes to go out and buy a couple of little tiddlers and grow them on a little bit. When he gets them to like 6 inch, he'll put them in his back garden pond. And he's just happy with the goldfish that just breed and do what they do naturally. He's not bothered on whether or not any of them spawn together. He's more happy that the fact that the fish are comfortable enough to spawn and become what they become as mixed breeds or whichever. So he's more than happy to just take. Good evening, bud. He's more than happy just to take whatever, because he's not all that bothered about fucking brilliant. But I've got a few that I've not been all that happy with, and a few that just don't seem to be doing anything growth wise. And those ones I'm going to give my dad as well and let him have them.
I think it's funny how your mind changes, doesn't it? Because I think we all go through the same thing. You have your first pond, and I had loads of world of water fish in it, and no particular colours. And as you go, I suppose it's like drinking wine. Not that I've ever drunk wine. I suppose you become a bit more of a connoisseur, and then dodgy salesmen like Crafty talk you into buying a slightly more expensive koi. And it honestly it's an addiction, isn't it? Because you get your own eye.
It definitely is, yeah. Definitely.
It's nice. It's a good hobby.
You just move up the ladder, don't you?
Yeah, constant progression, absolutely. But it's interesting when you buy a higher quality koi, put it in your pond, and all of a sudden all the other koi in your pond look a little bit less, and then
that's the thing, Phil. That's right from the day that I put in. I mean, I really like. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like my Benny Ginger. And from the minute I dropped that fish in my pond, I just thought, God damn, man. The vast majority of the rest don't look not like it or nowhere near as nice as it. But yeah, the ones that got me into the hobby, the ones that I made my first little mini pond, they were all like this. You know, they were just tiny little tiddly things. And then they outgrew that in a matter of like 3 months. And I thought, crap, I've got to make another one. And then, which I progressed with what I've got. And I think one day I might probably make that bigger as well. But if I do, if anything, it'll be deeper, not longer or wider, but maybe a little bit deeper if I do.
My preference is to. I don't buy koi any bigger than 20 cm really.
Well,
and I like to grow and develop them as well as I do 2 to 3 week old fry. But I do like to see them develop. I think when you buy a fully matured fish, somebody else has done all the work. You might be proud of owning that koi, perhaps, but you're even more proud of it if you've brought it up to that stage.
I think the fry, if people haven't done fry, and even if it means just going to buy a tank for indoors, in terms of learning, the fry, it's a brilliant journey, isn't it? Growing the fry on.
The changes in patterns of colour and size and shape and everything is vast.
Yeah.
You learn more from watching this and develop like that. Yeah.
Even down to when you've got fry that you don't think are any good. If you keep hold of them for that little bit longer, as we've proven that way,
absolutely.
all of a sudden they've got colour.
Ashiramuji can become a kahaku.
It can. I have the proof. It can become a
I've,
She had a
kahaku.
Shuramuja army, and
I've put
good half of
many,
them have started
many,
clearing back up again.
I've put many a fry in Death Row, which is a tank I've got round the back of the pond, and I've been
Death Row.
sorting through it again, the sort of 2 or 3 months on, and it's amazing what you find in there, and bring it back.
I'm just seeing Crafty. I was just watching a bit of your video before I come on with the big pond.
Looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, I wish it was mine, mate.
Well, technically, mate, it is, isn't it? You get to see it every day and experience the pleasure of it every day.
Yeah, I bit the fish for it as well. The thing is, people keep nicking them.
No, what? Seriously, nicking them?
Oh, like buying them. I mean.
Selling
I was
them.
going to say.
So, innit? You know what I mean? But yeah.
Bloody Aaron tried being nicking one of mine. I mean, I would have probably been a bit more gutted had it been my a decent Benigoy. But it's the Dainichi, but it's covered in shimmies everywhere, which a good few of them are slightly missing now, because it did have some on its side, but the heron got hold of it. I don't know how many times it got it and dropped it or whatever, but there were about 10, 11 scales in the bottom of the pond, and my neighbour spotted it trying to get it and spooked it off. So I got
for you.
Crafty sending me a new net out for pond. It's on its way, so I can get it.
This way.
It's on its way, mate. So I can get it all netted off again. But with a difference, there'll be a video to come and for you to have a look at.
Put off camera set because I've got to turn the monitor around.
It's what? He's just turned his camera off. No, it's we've seen fish, Daz, haven't we? But we've thought as we were growing them on, and they've been, wow, look at that. Look at patterns coming up on that. And those have changed and changed and changed as we've got through 12 months, 13, 14 months.
Yeah.
And some of them have changed for the better and some of them have changed for the worse. But there's been, I would have said, Daz, we probably had more change for the worse, haven't we? Ones that we thought would have real good potential. And then you've gone, yeah, well, that's naff now, isn't it? That's another squash tomato or another something else or another
too
sugar
dark or something, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean,
get up, Mark.
You've got a pair of legs.
I can't get up.
the sumi changes I've seen this winter though. I never noticed anything like it last year. I don't know whether it's because the fish are that bit much older or whether it's because it's temperatures different. But the sumi is really come up on a lot of the fish. So much so that it's completely changed the fish.
You'll find that though, Daz, in cooler water, mate.
Yeah.
So you know, even some of the koi down at the shop, we've got a big pond full of Issa show at a decent Nisai going Sanzai now. And when I first joined down at Perfect, there was one that had a beautiful memoir straight across its face.
Yeah.
And then as the water warmed, that sumi retracted back. And I thought, oh fuck, here we go. It's going to be one of them fish where all the sumi disappears and you're left with a nail. I thought, hang on a minute, it could be the fact that when the water starts cooling down, that sumi progression comes again. And as it's come and it's stronger and it's one of them. It could be the fact that you're losing the quality, but on the other hand, you get rid of that fish far too quick, just like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It could actually be hard to development. And
but the speed it happens, it's within like 2 weeks.
It's crazy, isn't it?
18 months old, and they've had like grey underlying sumi for 18 months, right since it's been a fry. I thought, these are never going to do anything. This is never going to change them. Bang! Jet black. All of a sudden, like, wow.
That's the same with like a Kumonru, though, isn't it? Where you get the Matsukao Bakis. They change way faster than what you expect.
They do.
1 minute you've got a fish that looks one style, and then 2-3 days later it looks totally different again.
You do. You have to do a double take. You think, hang on, where's that fish come from? That's not mine.
I've got a right spot on my nose, haven't I?
Guys,
I think that's the least of your worries, Crafty.
It's very coming up Crafty.
Have you had to actually do some work, Crafty?
Who, me? Man,
Yeah, you.
More man hours than soft mick, mate, I tell you.
You know, But truth be told, though, mate, you don't become management to do work, Dave. You become management to delegate work.
Delegate, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
it's all about
explain
being
it better
organised.
well.
And you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that.
I've
While
got
I make
Simon
sure that
on
you're
the
doing it
lad-
right.
I've got
Guys,
Simon
I'm
on
good.
the lads.
Sorry, Crafty, I'm going to drop off, guys. I'm being summoned. So thank you very much, guys, for the plug.
No worries, mate.
Really,
I'll
really
see
appreciate
you
it.
there
Thank
on
you for the
Monday, mate.
donation, Crafty.
What
Thank
a
you.
welcome.
Bye,
See
Phil.
you on Monday, guys.
See you later, bud.
Bye.
All
Yeah,
best.
I'm gonna crack off as well, guys. I'm gonna go. I've only just got from. I'm gonna have my dinner. Like Phil says, thank you for your donation, Crafty. It's much appreciated.
Very welcome.
And can I
See you
just say to Sam and Simon, I can see the WhatsApp group popping up in the corner and you talking about me. So piss off, the pair of you, because I can read the comments. Right. Thank you ever so much for the shout out,
No
guys.
problems,
And I'll
Dave.
see you Monday.
See you on Monday.
Bye.
Thanks for
See you
joining
later,
us,
gang.
mate.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Right, we've got a few questions coming up, which one of them was one of the topics that we're going to bring up. Duke West has put, do herons take fish from raised ponds?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, they do.
mate. A heron will take a fish from anywhere it can gain access. If
And they're
it
not-
can get access, it will do. Being raised or not doesn't make an ounce of difference. If it's got somewhere it can land and it can stand still for long enough and the fish don't spot it, if it can get hold of them, it'll take them.
They're not scared of gazebos or pergolas either. That's just a myth. I've seen them land on the ground, walk over to it, hop up onto a raised pond, regardless of the roof covering. Doesn't bother them at all. They just stand on the side, waiting for the chance to take the fish.
The only plus
Herons are
side to a
very,
Mongolia is it makes it a little bit more different as they're flying over to spot it, or
Yes.
anything with a pond with a cover over top of it. If they don't see it flying over, then you're lucky. But
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was saying this, but it was quite an interesting an interesting theory that they put out there about it. When we're getting a lot of heavy rains, your water courses get discoloured and murked up, as do ponds and river sources and the rest of it. And when these water sources get, especially for a predator hunter like a kingfisher, a heron, cormorant, they need to see the prey to be able to catch the prey. When the water's murked up, it's more common to see herons feeding in and around pond environments because we keep them crystal clear.
Yeah.
And the fish are far easier to spot and to see and an easier target, which I thought that was quite. I think it was Chris. I think it was
Herons
Chris
are very
from,
patient as
Budgie
well.
Pumpkin.
I
Sorry.
think it was, guys, yeah.
Yeah.
They're very patient birds. They'll
Yeah, they
stand absolutely still for ages. Half an hour stood still, just waiting for the damn thing to sort of cruise by, and it'll then attack.
It's to allow the fish. I mean, if you notice yourself, if you sit down or crouch down by the side of your pond, your fish, when they've had a heron around, when you approach it, they're spooked and they move. But if you keep still for a good 10 minutes, you'll be surprised just how quickly they start to mosey on back to the area you're at. And that's what the heron waits for, doesn't it? It lands there, keeps perfectly still, poised, ready and waiting to strike. And then when they're relaxed and they're not paying attention and they're not acknowledging that predator that's popped over top of pond, then they strike. So,
And they will feed in the dark as well. People don't realise this. I've seen them when I've been night fishing. They've been sort of next to me, fishing in the marshes for fish right through the night. So
I actually had a rod license.
Light. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most people in the morning they see no heron, they think, "Oh, I'm all right." Yeah, that heron's been like midnight to 4 a.m. in the morning and had your fish before you've even got up.
They're sneaky buggers, aren't they?
That's why he was night fishing.
Do you
Didn't
remember
have a
that?
license.
Do you remember that guy does that we used to watch? Him that did all the different spawning with crossing the Kahaku back to the standard.
Brady.
what
Brady
was
Bar.
his name? What were his channel? What were he called again?
Brady. Was it Brady Barwood? Something
That's it,
Wood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the one where he had showing the predators that he had around his farm?
Oh my God.
Did you see the size of that koi, that heronette?
Yeah.
You're talking a 45 cm fish, and it swallowed it like it were now.
Yeah.
He give it one quick jab, flicked it in air, slid it down neck, gone.
Yeah.
All right. And then there was another one slightly bigger that it nailed as well, didn't it? But it didn't get that one. It didn't swallow that one. It just ate it like it were bugger all.
Yeah.
I don't know if theirs are slightly bigger than ours, but God.
It's a grey heron the same. I imagine it must be the same species.
Cormorants can take bigger fish still.
Cormorants can, and pelicans can as well.
Yeah.
Thank God I haven't got them over here.
Yeah, I was say we're being shit if pelicans start landing on garden pond, don't you? Budget pond keeper Chris says, what do the panel think of the Tamasaba? Seems to be an upcoming thing. I think they're wicked.
I think it's a good thing. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's something different. I like them, mate.
Yeah,
I really do.
And they're a hardy, robust goldfish as well. Not like a lot of the fancies that just turn the toes up, slice a bit of frost.
It's not for me. It's not for me. I can appreciate a good one, but I don't think I'd have one. But I did say that about a kahaku, and now look at where I am.
You're yet to get one of them yet, though, Dave, aren't you? You're yet to get a kahaku.
I've still got to get one yet, but not this year. But I am turning 30 next year.
Kahaku just arrived. Oh, Shinoda.
And some banging kahaku styled Tamasaba to go with it. How about that, Dave?
I'll tell you
something. Well, unless it's a free 30th birthday free, then there's no chance, because otherwise one ain't going in my pond. I'll have somebody just like, what's that? He brought another fancy goldfish on me. She did that with Benegoy. Oh, not a goldfish. It says no, it's a Benegoy, love.
That Momotaro growing show one, Crafty, is looking beautiful. Not growing much, but looking beautiful.
Oh,
I've got to admit, mine's popping. It looks nice. It looks really nice.
Yeah, you should see the belly start to contract now a little bit.
Yeah,
with the temperatures coming down.
Yeah. It looks good. I just want to get some growth on it.
To go on to a bit of Tamasaba, they are, like Terrence says in the comments, they are Marmite. However, I'll tell you now, they are so sought after, it's unreal.
Yeah.
It's like you get a good one and they'll go as much as a decent koi.
Yeah.
And they do. And people are on the phone asking to see them all the time, probably more than koi, because they're harder to get hold of. And actually, I lost mine last week, my Tamasaba. I'm a bit pissed with that, but having it in the pond give another element, because it's quite comical to see a little fat thing that resembles Paul with the tail bob along the water like no F's given, So if you've got kiddies, it's another fish. It's something else to learn, man.
Stop it, Crafty. Come on.
I've
got two kids.
Pulling on the kids' strings because he's got two kids and they'll want a Tamasaba if they see one.
Just stop it.
If you've got smaller kids, they're more attractive to the younger kids. If you want to get them involved, get someone that looks like a fucking Mr. Blobby, mate, floating around in your pond.
Yeah, it's a comical side of them to me. They do look comical, the way they swim, the way the body shape is, and what have you. I honestly, I do think they're going to be the next big thing. I really do.
Well, I know there's so many Japanese breeders now starting to go further and further into bigger breeding. There's so many more breeders this year that have ponds full for sale, and therefore I also know there's a lot more dealers that are bringing them back with them. So
there's a lot more different sort of strains or varieties of the Tamasaba as well. It's not just your standard kahaku pattern.
No, totally right.
Tanky and shower, and there's all sorts.
Yeah, there's even the ones that don't really fit into a category. I think the problem that people will find with a Tamasaba is that it's finding the knowledge on how to grade them, because it's not just on the pattern. The pattern operates very similar to a koi with regards to how it develops. However, there's a lot more in the body shape that you will take more notice of. You'll tend to what you tend to find is on some of the high backs,
Yeah.
that you'll get a curvature in the spine, so the head looks like it's like sitting on a 45-degree angle. So if you used to put them out, the tail then sits like that. Okay, it's not a good quality fish to do that. You want to try and get that as straight as you possibly can. You're never going to get it dead straight unless you want to pay £3,000 for it. Right?
Yeah.
There's not many people that will. Right, but as straight as you possibly can. There's quite a lot to take into account, and I'll see if I can get a bit of a crash course, a bit more of a crash course, and then maybe we can do a little bit of an appreciation on.
Yeah.
I can make my normal koi look like Kamasaba's the way I do them.
Well, it doesn't take much, Tony, does it?
You already do, mate. You got to lay off the fatty food, dude. McDonald's don't feed koi.
Elizabeth has asked us a question. Crafty, what percentage of water do you recommend for a water change for a pond in spring? I would say the same as your water change throughout the season.
Personally, I personally wouldn't go and do or head for a specific water change. Not until I've done a test, because your water's sat there, and if you're not feeding heavy, it's going to be sat there. It's going to be good water because it's going to be going through your filter. Right, and then all you're simply going to do is replace good water with water that needs to then go through all of the curing process. Right, so, but the key is to test first. If your KH is battered off, or you've got an ammonia spike because your filter's not woken up and you're starting to feed, it's all about the water rather than conducting a change. So do a water test first and then act amongst that. The saying is do a 20% water change. Not many people.
Your water change is enough as much as cleaning your filter, innit?
But it all depends
if
on
you
the
cleaned your
size
filter and flushed your filter out, you've got to top back up. And
But
if that's enough to maintain it,
Yeah, but that's all. It's all relevant, really, to the
It's all
size
relevant.
of your filter, to the size of your pond. If you've got a 2,000-gallon pond and a Nexus 320, that's by far more than 20%. So, you have to just be a little bit smarter with it. Don't just go through the motions. Think about what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think feeding and stocking levels, really.
But again,
you've got to test. Yeah.
It's not just the stocking levels. It's is it before you start feeding, after you start feeding? Do you salt before? Do you salt over winter? Don't you? There's lots more to think about it. But I wouldn't specifically aim to go and do any percentage of water changes until I know what my water parameters are. In short, that's how I'd do it.
I'm just same as you guys, to be fair. But I just clean my filters 3 times, and then what water that's used equals about 20% water change for me. Give or take. I don't precisely go. Yeah, that's 20.
But you do same as pretty much what Crafty said. You'll do a filter clean and top back up what you've taken out of your filter. But after that or before that, you'd probably test your water to see if you needed to do anything more than that beforehand. No. And that way then you could perhaps maybe give your filter a double clean or a triple clean if you wanted to think, right, well, I get my filter nice and cleaned out. It's a quicker, easier way of removing water just by dumping to waste. And then when you're topping back up, if you know that, like mine, for example, it's 300 litres if I drop them barrels. I know if I do it 3 times, that's 900 litres. Or whatever. If it warrants it and you need it because, like Crafty was saying, your filter died off a little bit and your bacteria's not started to build back up and start to kick back in again because it's early doors and you've only just started increasing your food or just starting to feed. It's that slow cycle. So too many people think, right, yeah, we've had a spring day, it's nice and sunny. Fish are up, I'm going to start feeding heavy. Bang, before you know it, you've got an ammonia again. And then you're back into the troubles and the problems of your filter not being able to catch up. And it's not so much your filter can't catch up, it's that you're feeding too heavy and it hasn't even got to begin to kick in properly. But you've got to get it to kick in the first place. So you've got to start somewhere. You've got to be careful.
But then it's a vicious cycle
of chasing it, yeah.
Because
It's like
You don't even have to be feeding over heavy.
no.
You know, if you're starting to introduce feed back into the water over a low period through the winter, you know, straight away you're going to start creating that effect straight away. All right. So if you then go into your water test and you're starting to get spikes, people then come away from their feeding. That's the wrong thing to do. You know, you've got to maintain your feed, let your bacteria build up in your filters, and then monitor the water test before you then start building the feed again. You have to do it incrementally.
It's like Alan said, feed through it, and stick at it, keep going with it, but just keep monitoring it. Just keep an eye on it, but don't panic.
You see, but this is where water chains then can make a difference. So if you are seeing high parameters, and a lot of people, when they start looking at their results, a lot of people start to panic and see like a 0.2 or a 0.3 of ammonia or nitrite. It's nothing to worry about. It's just you're always going to get traces, and it's not unless it's going red high, like when you start to look at the charts. That's when you have to really take remedial action and hit it straight away. You know, look at just doing a small water change, because you're taking away loads of that badness out of the water and placing it with fresh, diluting it down, and actually your filters will benefit from that as well. You know, as will your fish. So, you know, it's water management, feed management, and filter management all coincide with each other when you actually start to put all of the pieces together.
So there's a lot to be said for giving your fish a little bit of food if it's warm enough through the winter, because that will keep that bacteria
keep
over.
your filter going, doesn't
Rather
it?
than shutting it down altogether and then having to start.
There is, but you've got to also be careful on that, because if your pond temperatures are too low, your bacteria don't thrive in your filter. So your beneficial bacteria won't develop. So therefore, you can actually be doing more harm than good, because if your bacteria don't build up because the temperatures are too cold in that water, then you've got no beneficial bacteria. So you're actually.
But you always have an element of it, don't you? Because not all bacteria are temperature driven. Some can exist, and I don't know how much truth there is in it. But they do say that there are winter bacteria that you can add. Whether or not that's more the food type for those type of bacteria that you've already got, that they will feed upon and exist off. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know enough about it to know, but I do know they exist. Whether or not they're much use or much caught.
They do exist, but again, it's one of them.
It's a lesser amount in it than what it would become summer months, and
it's still not enough to like combat against overfeeding in a winter period when we get like this week we're due to get like weather 14, 15. Your fish are going to be up searching for food, right? And if you get a prolonged spell for 1 week, people, they're looking for food.
Yeah, they go back to the normal feeding regime, and the fish come up, they feed like crazy, and then they start.
Totally, but then the temperatures drop off again, and at that point, your filters just about to start waking up and then die straight off again.
Yeah.
You've got to create a balance, and it takes time for that cycle to happen. And if you can't get that cycle working, you're doing more bad than good.
They call water plants and rats saying feed 365 days a year, obviously less in winter, but I'm guessing you must be heated as well as.
He is heated, actually. He is heated.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to spring, slowly increasing it, slowly introducing it, letting your filters catch up, letting them kickstart. And, I do believe that the beneficial bacteria do serve a purpose and help kickstart your filters to get going.
100%.
You've got to remember that bacteria reproduces every 3.5 seconds and splits again. So once it starts to kick in, it's relatively quick, providing it's got enough food to stay alive. If you just think, right, oh shit, I've got a spike in ammonia, and you knock off feeding and you drop off for 2 weeks again, that's enough for it all to drop off and die back again if it's not got established quick enough.
To be fair, you're looking here, people are always stuck for Christmas presents for the koi pond. Right? We picked this question up a couple of weeks ago. Nothing like water treatments ready for when you come out of the spring. I'd rather that than a pair of socks. And start looking at, Bacta Plus, some Pure Plus gel from EA, that works really well. And then things to look at as the temperatures get warmer is PSB.
That stuff stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That smells bad. That stuff.
You really need it in the warmer weather. That stuff dies in the winter, So you've got to wait for the new batch to come out, and it comes like rocking or shit. So see it because it's the best stuff on the market, in my opinion.
What I fail to understand is the bacteria in our filters to stay alive need feeding.
Totally right.
Yep. So how does the bacteria in a bottle on a shelf in a shop stay alive during its shelf life?
That's the thing, mate. That's what I was meaning by it. I don't necessarily. I mean, I might be wrong, but this is my theory on it. Because bacteria, as you say, on a shelf, certain temperatures, it shouldn't exist, should it? It shouldn't live. If it's been in a bottle for 12 months on the shelf and never been sold, I don't really think it's so much as bacteria in a bottle, but food for bacteria in a bottle for them to feed on and, reproduce.
Right. So your temperature levels keeps your bacteria alive. Okay. So you can have it in that form. All right. When you add it to your filter, it will then, once it then reacts with the cycle, all right, it will then start to multiply. It then attaches itself to the plastic within your filters and then multiplies and multiplies. Well, you can't overdose with it, because if it don't attach itself to nothing, it'll disappear into the water. Right? When it starts feeding, it then multiplies. So you can keep a source in a bottle, but then you add a small amount, and then it will basically colonize your whole filter by going through that repercussion through feed of the bad bacteria in your system. That's how it works.
Yeah, I was always taught that live bacteria, when it's sold in a bottle, so when you do get those filter boost things, they have to be kept refrigerated, and they only have a lifespan of, I believe it's 3 months, and that's kept refrigerated. If it's on a normal shelf, then that's technically only food.
I'm not sure about the refrigerated thing. We don't sell it refrigerated, so I'm not sure that you should keep it refrigerated. PSB has to be taken, kept out of direct sunlight, but stored above 14 degrees, I think.
I believe that it's the refrigeration. The idea was that the refrigeration would then put the bacteria into a dormant state.
Yeah.
It wouldn't require as much food, it wouldn't require as much oxygen or anything to survive. So basically go into like a hibernation.
Makes sense.
Well, if you look at the, do you know that guy, that Sid, that does a channel called Koi Run?
Yes.
I think he's a biologist, and he's been into that, and he has done I think it's quite a long video, but it's well interesting, and he's gone into the science behind it all, and about the fact that they aren't alive in a bottle on a shelf, and these are foods, but you can keep bacteria alive in certain conditions, but the conditions that they've got to be kept in need to be at such a low temperature for them to survive, but they'll only survive for so long. It prolongs it for a certain length. Whereas he believed that most of the products that are out there as these are all foods, but Bacto Plus, that red stuff, that isn't a live bacteria culture, because you can produce that and make it yourself, and you need heat and sunlight for X amount of days for it to be produced. There's videos on how to make the stuff online. And when we went to the last koi show they walked up to me and said, "Can we interest you in some of this Bacto Plus?" I said, "No, I can make it myself with a few ingredients. Why would I buy it half you in a bottle?" And the guy just laughed and said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, it's all over the internet how to make it, mate. It's a simple enough product. It's not difficult to do. But over here, it's difficult to do if you've not got the temperatures to keep making it. But that's actually a live culture, because you can take a bottle of that, split it in half, add it to another bottle, and then it cultures that bottle and keep going and keep going and keep going until you keep producing it. So that one's definitely got live culture in it, but for how long it stays alive, I don't know.
But I don't honestly believe you need to use any of that if you've got an old, mature pond. Personally, If
That's
you've got
that's the
if you've got a
key,
much
mature.
younger pond, then I can probably see the need for it. But once your pond has been matured over 3 or 4 years, well, I've put it this way, I've never found the need to use it.
Yeah, well, that's the key,
I use it religiously, whether I need it or not. You can't overdose of it.
No.
So, you know, I'd rather add something I know is going to be good, and if it's not required, then it's not required. I know that's probably for some people burning money in the wind, but it's a little bit of security blanket. When I clean my filters, I'll always add some sort of
Add a little bit in. Yeah, I don't see there's nothing wrong with it, mate.
I'll just do
if
it.
Nothing else. If it is bacteria, brilliant. You're adding bacteria. If it's bacteria and food, you're adding food for the bacteria that's already there. So all it can do is be a plus, not a negative, can it? It can't make things worse. It's got to make it better.
Well, I'd rather have it than not have it. That's my philosophy behind it. You see.
But do you do it in the shop? Say, I know Vicky does with her tropicals.
Yeah.
With tropical fish keeping and fish keeping in tanks, you can use seeded media, seeded filters. And you can keep those filters alive by adding them to an environment and keep them going in another tank, which without any fish in it, you just keep them cycled, keep them moving through. And as long as you've got with fishing, a fishing cycle kind of thing, and you keep those filters going. And when you want to start up a new tank, you take those filters, put them into the filter, and it gives it an instant kickstart. You're off and you're away. Do you do that kind of thing with shop? Or do you restart each one each time?
No. When like the shipment we've just received.
Oh, saying that though, you get that much, and you probably just constantly have a continuous cycle of it, won't you? Anyway.
Well, it's If we're going through the QT process, it's a complete strip down, clean. You know, as if you were setting up a new pond. Refill, and then it's just I use EA gel in my filters in the shop. Just dose it full of that, fill it back up, off you go. If we got in the shop when we go for a clean, I instruct the guys, because it's my practice, to put filter gel into the filters again. You know, the thing is, we're so overstocked in the shop. You know, sometimes you can have 300 tozai in, 750 litres of water. You know, and they're feeding, and they're getting fed 5 times a day.
Yeah.
That a hell of a lot of waste. So, you have to do more cleaning. Although sometimes, the waste can actually create them spikes that I was mentioning, not to a level that it becomes scary, but they constantly need a boost to help nullify the effects of the nitrite and the ammonia that you get. So, it's having the garden pond and having the pond in the shop is just completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Completely different.
We got another question then, to switch on to another topic from Duke West again. Which is better, a drum filter or a Tempest? That one, to all us that probably know, it 100% a drum filter, no matter what the make or brand of drum filter, would be better than a Tempest.
But it all depends on how it's being used.
Yeah, that's the one.
Tempests
are good, don't get me wrong. They have their place, and they do a good job. They do get out the fines. They do get out the crap out your pond. But when it comes to a drum, well, I think they're pretty much self-explanatory.
To answer the question, they serve different purposes. Although you can use Tempest as a main filter, it's only going to be on a small scale pond.
Yeah.
And when you look at the price tag that comes with both of them filters, they're miles apart. I think the Tempest now is 350 quid, I think. I might be wrong.
What's your average drum?
You're looking two and a half.
Grand, 2.5, yeah.
So they do different things. So to understand a drum filter is there to take the main waste out of the bigger pot.
Oh, you're alive.
And it's self-clean.
Oh.
Sorry, just my partner just walked in, give me some whispers. Oh, you're live.
Nice. Where's mine, Tony?
Yeah, Gaz goes, where's it? It's some. There you go.
Oh, crap.
Sorry.
Clean, you know, you need a constant trickling with them. They come with their pros and their cons. When you're looking at a Tempest, it's something that you'd normally add on like after a mechanical filter system, you know, just to help take fines out of the water and polish your water up. However, in kind of small toes-eye ponds, they can be used as mechanical filters. It's very similar to an easy, but works in the opposite way round. Yeah. You know, mine catches so much shit in my pond. It's unreal, absolutely unreal. And I left it for 2 weeks, and the water that come out of it looked like dirty dishwater. That's how much. But I just wanted to see, you know, without regular cleaning, how much it actually held. And I'll tell you, I shit you not, it was brown water. It was absolutely copied. 5 flushes as well to clean it. Devo.
Yeah, I've left my Tempest before now until all the media seems to stick together on the first couple of flushes.
I got have you seen like it's like a lava, like an algae lava that sort of grows and flakes off? Because it was in the sunlight while I was building my filter house, the whole side of it just grew algae, and then as it got less and less sun contact, it died off, but it flaked off in big chunks. You can't get it out. It just sits in there, slowly breaking up and getting washed away now. But
that's why I think a lot of people put those zip like jackets on a minute to stop them from, you know.
I refuse to do it, man. That's why it's like, let it be what it'll be.
But they weren't. Again, it's the same thing, and it's something else that somebody's produced and modified something again from the same company with their easy pods and everything else. Everybody always puts their own little spin on everything, don't they? Their own little like attachments or change.
I don't think it's a bad thing, to be fair.
No, I got one on mine.
You know,
I think if it's indoors and the you know, no windows and the light switched off and the door shut, it won't green up. It's fine, isn't it? But if you've got one outdoors like mine is, then I'm afraid it would go as green can be without a cover on it.
Yeah. They're good to use, aren't they, for like the Tempest after the drum, so then you could polish your water again before it returned.
The big problem with a Tempest is its optimal flow rate is 7,500.
Yeah, that's the downside to it, isn't it? Especially if you've got a big pond and you're banging 20,000 litres back in. It just ain't going to do it, is it?
I mean, it's the same for me. It's like, you know, I've had to. You have to really think about the engineering of how your water returns into your pond. So, you know, to be able to control the flow of the water is extremely important on them. You push them through too fast and they don't do their job as well. Slow it right down. Mine runs through at about 6,000 to 7,000 litres an hour, and it does a bloody good job. I mean, so when you start looking at the flow rates on drums and whatnot, it don't work. And because the microns on an actual drum itself, it does a better job, if not.
Yeah, I was going to say they're so fine on them, aren't they? They are a high polishing device anyway, aren't they?
60 micron, you know. Yeah. I mean, the Tempest claims to go down to like 1 of a micron or something, but you know, that's just a claim. Just to pick up on something that Marek's put in there, it's like 7 litres of media inside it. It's totally right, but people do buy 2 and put them together, you know, or 3.
Yeah, double barrel it and put 14 litres in.
You know, so 3. I've seen people buy 3 just to club them all together, just to keep the filters nice and self-cleaning, and you know, they keep a small little pond with it.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it doing perfectly all right in a small goldfish pond, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's not something I'd recommend, but if, you know, different people, if they want to do it.
Yeah. But you have the same problem with flow rates with Nexus as well. People trying to run them far too fast.
Yeah.
And,
my Nexus is only 6,000 litres an hour or thereabouts, and I'll just run it the exact same. I haven't altered it, and it just seems to just run nicer. All I did were made that YouTube video where I went slightly wrong. I did a bit more media through advice, and it just just works perfect. And now I should have popped that filter in the beginning, but, couldn't afford to at the time.
Yeah, run them nice and slow, and they're great filters. But I've found I've had to put an additional pump on just to recirculate the pond water because I don't get enough movement in the pond otherwise.
Yeah. Not stirring the muck up.
Yeah, not only that, the fish need a bit of circulation to give them a bit of exercise, don't they?
Yours do.
yeah. Well, yeah. If I wanted to lose a bit of weight, I've got to put them on the treadmill.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Tony. Where did you get that cherry red Akamatsuba from? Because that is
from
mint.
the koi collection.
That's nice, that mate. That's
I've got 2 of them.
That's a good example of that one. That's very cherry, isn't it?
Hard to
Nice
get
looking fish.
examples. Very prone to
nice.
ship.
Vicky, what's your average temperature in your tunnel now?
Today, when I took it, the temperature was sitting at 7.5, 7.4.
Yeah.
Yours does?
Last time I checked mine, I didn't check it today. It was 6 point some. I think it's 6.1.
6.1.
That's
Last time I checked my pond outside, it was 7.9. No polytunnel.
My pond is holding at 10 at the moment.
But whilst your guys were all up at, yours were at 8, 7 point, what, Vic? 7.5? And yours were at 6.57 does. When we had that cold nip the other week, mine were down to 2 degrees.
Yep, and mine stayed.
That's the difference. If the sun comes
Jeff's
out,
little soft fish like this. It's too
And over.
cold. And the rest of them going, oosh, you winter.
if the sun comes out, though, you're straight up to mid-20s or even high 20s.
Yeah,
very quick,
that's the
doesn't it?
bonus of it, isn't it? That slightly bit of sunshine, and your pond's lovely and warm again, isn't it? But that's a big swing back up from something so far down.
Yeah,
isn't it?
That could also be quite detrimental, though.
Yeah.
As well, because such big swings in temperature, if you can get up to like 20s within a day and then drop back off, down to the 7s.
It doesn't drop off as fast though, crafty in polytunnels. Polytunnels tend to come down real steady and slow because there's a bit. Daz were in like 10s, 12s, and 14s. Vicky's were in 10s, 12s, and 14s, and mine and Dave's. Well, Dave's has been holding a little bit more. Mine and Aaron's we were at 10 degrees, and then we went from 10 in over 2 days. Like I were down to like 2, so proper dropped rapid. Whereas these were still holding like 7 and 8s, and it's slowly come down. But the thing is, it quickly can rise up. That's the swing that God damn us. We've melted in that polytunnel at yours, haven't we, on a summer, man? You go in there with a jumper on, you come out, take your jumper off, and your t-shirt's stuck to your wet throat.
Oh, look at that.
Like you said, the other the other swing of it is though.
Gaz's
I'm
live
going to go
food
off
channel.
camera while I film a place with this church.
Only because you want to do this with it. Get it down your neck.
Shovel it in.
Yeah, but if you flick that the other way though, Gaz, then like when we did your grow and show, and I was waiting to try and get the right temperature, and you were like, "Well, I'm already at say I don't know."
Yeah, yours
12.
took a long time to come up, didn't it? But yours has held longer than mine.
Yeah,
yours has stayed warmer, hasn't it? Yours were at 12, 13 degrees, and mine were at 8.
Quite a bit. Yeah, and now we're sort of about within a
About the
degree
same,
of each
but
other
yours
at
has
the
come
minute,
down nice and steady, hasn't it? Whereas mine just went, see ya.
Yeah, that's like you say, where your cargo's gone. Oh.
I went down to 7 during the cold snap, but I don't think we got quite as cold as you folk up there.
I'm going to change the subject. Have you seen Pondo Man's newest video?
No.
About keeping covers on your pond.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
I hate that fucking villain. I really want to meet him. I really want to
chat.
Sorry. I think,
bit random.
No, there was a comment pop up saying Pondo Man says temperature swings don't affect koi. Fuck, want to come down my shop? I'll fucking show you how it affects it.
Yeah, but it's one of them. It's each to their own. But I'm sure everyone's sort of seen the effects of the temperature swings and how the fish react to the temperatures.
I can tell you 100% that a 2-degree temperature swing can make a difference.
Yeah.
I brought that little coin and I had it in bucket, and the tank was at 24 degrees. And I had the bucket at 22 degrees, and I just kept adding a little bit of warmer water to it from the tank each time and putting a little bit in just to get it, and gradually bringing it up. Like every half hour I'd add just half a cup and just kept bringing it up. And to be honest, I was getting rather fed up of doing it. But I carried on persisting, and I thought, right, there's 2 degrees, 22 degrees in the bucket, 20 degrees in the tank. So I bagged it up and thought, I'm going to float you. The minute I put that fish on there, I walked in, put my coffee cup in the kitchen, come back, and it were upside down in bag. I was like, shit.
It's because he wanted the coffee, guys.
I took it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you about this one as well. These buggers didn't even tell me. So I took it back out again, obviously, and then floated it back in the bucket again and left it in the bucket. And again, kept adding. Once it come round in about 30 seconds or so. So I again kept adding a little bit of half a cup of water until I got them both at 24 degrees. And when I got them both at 24 degrees, I floated it back on the tank again then for about 3/4 of an hour, and it was right as rain. But just those 2 degree different, and it shocked it enough to make it think, or the shock of being in a bag floating above a fish tank and seeing other fish, one or two, but it didn't like it anyway. So it took a little bit of messing around with it to get it right, but if you steadily work at it, then it's not too bad. 8 degrees today, and see. What did you get yesterday though? Well, because for me yesterday, it was cold, man. It dropped cold yesterday.
Yeah.
I was freezing. I was freezing my ass off at work yesterday. That's the first day I've actually been at work and felt cold. I couldn't feel my feet; they were numb.
I was going to say, what's wrong with you guys? You know, it's never cold.
What I mean.
It's never
You've
cold.
Never heard me say that, have you? All year, I've said yeah, but it's not winter yet. But actually, I was cold yesterday, and I noticed a considerable. So I'm pretty sure that the fish will have noticed a bigger difference out there too. High voltage koi. They're not here, mate. Vince is no longer here. He's chose to go his own way, and Ricky's out on his Christmas do, and will be back hopefully with us next week. I did say at the beginning, but yeah, it was a bit more colder. Pondo Man has got MVQs in sitting gills with aquaculture. Simon says. Marcus Watson says, and this is not me saying this before I get a shitload of complaints. Not very, I mean, I might as well piss somebody else off. I do it all the time, don't I? That's what I specialise in. MVQ, not very qualified. Pond was at 7 yesterday. So I think mine had dropped back down to about 5 yesterday. I've been going back out there every evening when I've rushed in and got back home. I've gone back in right quick and checked to make sure that Erin hadn't been back. Been shitting myself every day thinking, I'm going to come home to a pond empty. But yeah. Vicky, Chris says, what's in the tanks behind you, but can't remember to type it in capital letters. Good job, I spotted it. What's in the tanks behind you, Vic?
Okay, this side is killifish.
Hang about.
Oh dear, you're going to make me big screen, aren't you? That's scary for everyone.
Crap. No, I've just popped you out. How the hell did I do that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Result. Okay, right, this one's got killifish in it. You can see, spawn him up.
Yeah.
They are. This side.
Now, quick question before you go on. Are those the killifish that you spawned? Are those the babies?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're the. Yeah, and I've got 3 sets of eggs out of them already.
What, for them already?
They're up on the shelf up there, drying out.
That sounds
and then, yeah,
weird when you
this
say
side,
that.
got up on the shelf, drying out. It doesn't sound right,
Drying
does
out the eggs.
it? It doesn't sound right, does it? And then we've got blue velvet shrimp on this side. These have just got placosine keeping cycled, ready for my beta spawns to go into.
Can we see my favourite one?
Your favourite one? What, Pee-wee?
Yeah.
Oh, that means I've got to move the camera and it's all probably going to go
Oh,
wrong.
no, don't do it if it's going to be too much trouble.
It's alright, it's fine. Just if I drop it, it's not my fault, is it? It's yours. If I drop you, this is all Gazzy's fault. I can't
my
see
God.
where you're looking. Sorry. There he is. He's in there somewhere.
I need to get me one of them.
No, he's not. He's not playing. I can see him, but you can't.
Is he up there on the back behind the plants?
Yep. He is. He's up there at the back on the plants. Because, you know, that's where he sits. Ah!
I think well.
This is all going very wrong. There we go. You're back now. Yeah, we got Turbo Corridor up there. We've got a poorly goldfish in that one, so we're not going to worry about that one. He's not that poorly. He's just got a swim bladder issue. We're correcting it. Red velvet's over there. And yeah, that's about it. On this side. Everything else that's interesting is behind you.
Is that where all the betters are?
Yeah, that's where all the spawns are.
What's the best way to get rid of tropical fish? The shops don't want them. Fish
If
butties.
the shops don't want them.
Free to a good home. Free ads.
Yeah, you could do that. It depends on what they are. Some of them are easier to get rid of than others. But yeah, I'd say you stick them on your local, whatever you can. I mean, you can't use Facebook anymore, but...
Yeah, you can't, can you? You can't advertise fish
No.
on Facebook.
No, you can't.
Yeah, bang them on. There's loads of tropical fish groups and stuff out there that you could bang them on them. And
Pre-loved. That's
pre-loved, yeah.
We love Pets for Home.
Yeah.
But yeah, other ways, fish butties, mate.
Yep. or if you've got a big... Well, the only other way is depending on whether or not you agree with it. If you've got a friend that's got a predatory fish,
Yeah, that's
you,
some
you can get rid of them that way. But
Against the law, you can't say that.
depends whether or not the fish is alive when it enters the tank.
You know.
No.
Just and it goes off again. Yeah.
Well, no, the fish
gonna
doesn't
put
have
them
to
in the
enter the tank
freezer.
alive.
Yeah, they're not allowed. Well, at one
You're not allowed
time,
to live feed anymore.
you're not allowed to live feed, are you?
No.
But if you look on YouTube, it's all over it.
Yeah.
If it was in
Unfortunately.
a coffee cup first, then it'd be okay.
How's that work though? When you for like over in States where they got peacock bass and all the rest of it, and they actually do feed live food, and their goldfish, their everyday goldfish are what they call feeder fish or silverfish as feeder fish.
Yeah, they sell them in the shops over there
They're
for
all
feeders.
Alive, aren't they?
Yeah, it's allowed though over there. It's not in this country,
It's
but
not
it is
in this
allowed over there.
country. Ah, right.
Yeah.
I like your shirt.
Well, when I had a marine tank, I accidentally live fed. I put a porcupine puffer in with them, and it ate everything in there. It did. Left with me nothing. I had a porcupine puffer and a lipstick tang, and that was all I had left.
Marriage
And the
Koi
puffer would
said,
have had the lipstick tang, and it's too big for it.
Marriage Koi said, Vicky, you got any?
I think that should be axolotl.
That's going to be
Go
axolotls.
on.
It's a can't say it, let alone spell it. Those underwater lizard type things.
Yes.
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 Yes, she has. I'm going to find that thing that Elizabeth shared, and that because that made me laugh.
Underwater lizard type thing.
Axolotl.
Yeah, but it's not the easiest word to spell, though, is it?
No,
It
it
is.
isn't.
No.
There's some interesting, really interesting facts. This Elizabeth, this made me giggle. It really did. You've all heard of Elf on a Shelf. Well, this one's
So they give people a word.
axolotl on a bottle.
That
That proper did give me a giggle, that one.
Imagine that. I can read it right. I can't spell for just
There you go. You've heard of Elf on a Shelf,
Or
now get ready
diarrhea.
for axolotl on a bottle.
That's a big axolotl.
It's a big, or a really
It's a
small
very
bottle.
small bottle, that's all. It's a very small bottle.
Funny though, that did make me giggle. I like them, me axolotls, and I learned some very interesting things about them the other day from damn it, from our vicar. They can. Right. Let me see if I get this right.
Oh dear.
They can breathe from 4 different areas.
Yes, correct.
They can breathe through the little fancy gills at the side of the head.
Mouth,
They can breathe through their mouths, as in via the lungs in the body. They have what I thought were the ribs. Now, if you look at an axolotl, in fact, while I've got that picture there, I should actually be able to show you. Although it is on a bottle, we should be able to make this. Now you see these lines that the axolotl's got down, each one of those lines down its body. Oh, there we go. Down here.
They're called costial grooves. Is
There you
the
go.
correct word from.
Costial grooves, and they can absorb oxygen through the water, through them as well as through the body as well. Is that right? In general, through the skin.
through the
Yeah.
skin, yeah. Osmosis, yeah.
Which is pretty cool, which means technically you can have them out in your hand for a little bit and have a good look at them, and you don't have to worry about it as long as it's not too long. But they can breathe perfectly fine through the lungs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what it is. It's more distressing for them to be out the water because they have quite a large body mass and very spindly little legs because they're used to living underwater. So obviously the water volume holds their body weight. Where if you put them just on the table, it's a bit like a wow. So they're eventually it's a big mass that they can't really support and lift up. So they actually just slide like a snake, which isn't obviously very good for their internal organs.
They will come up and just
I
take a
know
good
people that can do that too.
Yeah, but when they come up and take a gulp of air, they're activating the membrane at the back of their throat, which then filters it down to the lung system, aren't they? So yeah, so they can
They're pretty,
take pure oxygen or pure air.
they're
sorry,
pretty
not
cool,
pure
aren't
oxygen.
they?
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
Suppose it's the same. Suppose it's the same as the tabasabra in a sense. You either like them or you don't like them. Isn't it? It's sort of one way or
Well,
other.
They've been in the pet trade for a long time. They were exported from Mexico in like 1860 something.
Yeah.
But they went virtually straight into laboratories because they do cancer research on them as well because the axolotls are actually immune to certain cancers.
Like crocodile.
Yeah.
Wait, did I do the top? I don't know what to do.
Bloody hell, Chris.
Wait, what?
Look at this, Daz.
Dirty in the bottom of it. Dirty, yeah.
I know this is going a little bit off topic, but at the end of the day, this is something that both Daz and Vicky are interested in. These are Chris's babies from what we saw earlier this year.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast growth, isn't it? That's a quarter of a Chinese takeaway box long. Aaron.
Yeah.
Well, they've done some growing.
Yeah.
I mean, this one here and this one here is Chris's entrance for his Karachi guy this evening. But your Karachi guys are a bit small, mate. But your axolotls are doing some pretty good growing.
Yeah. Well, you certainly got it wrong. Like you've got them past the danger stage.
Yeah. And have you kept them all? How many have you got left, Chris? Because he had bloody hundreds, didn't he? He had absolutely hundreds of them in bottom of that massive big.
Always do.
There was tons and tons and tons of them.
Loads, always loads.
Makes you wonder why they're so damn rare in the wild. I mean, there's far more in captivity now. In fact, I think they're actually classed as extinct in the wild, aren't they? You know?
Yeah, they were put on the endangered species list at around 2008, I believe.
Yeah.
Over there. But it's because they can't take over our captive ones. They can't bring them back.
No. The genetic
When they,
it's ones.
well, yeah, they brought them over. I think they brought 7 over and crossed one with a tiger salamander.
Yeah.
Which then changed the genetics of the ones that we've got.
Yeah.
So obviously the ones over there are slightly bigger, and obviously they're only in dark colours. And apparently they're only meant to come from Lake
Suck him out.
Oh yeah, that one. Because if the locals find him in any other pond, they class them as not being the right ones, not true wilds.
I did see they got an active breeding operation going on over there, just with using pure wild genetics.
Yeah, the nuns are doing it, aren't they? It's whatever they call it, of nuns doing it, which is really nice.
I don't know how successful that's been. I mean, they had a fair few hundred.
I think it's been pretty successful.
Yeah, but
They are managing to get some back. Yeah, well, the problem is the lake's no longer a lake, is it? It's more of a canal.
It is
because it shrunk
canal,
that much. It's now just a
drainage.
canalway.
Yeah, like drainage ditches.
Yeah.
Full of rubbish. This is the problem, isn't it? Pollution, invasive species eating all the babies, the tilapia and such.
Yeah.
You can't undo that kind of damage.
Chris, you want to send them a few of yours, mate? You got 594 of them.
Yeah.
Daz has got about 500 or 600 of them still. We'll have to get rid of loads as well.
I'm going to shoot off, guys. So thanks for having me on, and I'll see you in the
Thanks for
comments.
joining us, bud. Appreciate
No
it.
worries.
Right, the other one of the other questions, or one of the other topics we had to talk about this evening from one of the subscribers was, let me double check and find it, was basics koi keeping. I think that's something along them lines. Let me just have a double quick check. The basics of koi keeping. For some reason, a lot of new hobbyists are skipping that part, stroke knowledge. I think the basics are the fundamental for a good start on the hobby. What would you consider the basics being and the best place to start, in advice-wise, for anybody that was new to the hobby, and what they should get into with the basics?
Don't do it. Walk away.
If you want to go really basic, you've got to work out where you're going to keep a volume of water.
That's really basic.
Yeah.
He asked basics, and it might sound silly, but if you can't just go dumping it somewhere, is it? Can
Yeah.
you?
It's not a
You've
silly
got to
thing.
make out
Trees,
sunlight,
leaves.
trees. Yes.
Yeah. Although it is really, really basic, where you're going to build your pond, how much shelter is it going to have? Are you going to actually make it big enough in the first place? Are you going to make it so that it's going to be something that is one pond build, or learn from everybody else's mistake that doesn't build it big enough and build it the right size the first time? A lot of us have rebuilt the ponds. I think pretty much everybody would say that at some point they've had a pond and then they've upgraded it and maybe upgraded it again.
Well, I think the biggest factor, Gaz, is people don't realise how much shit it makes, how much spoil you're going to dig out the ground.
A lot,
And
mate.
that tends
a lot
to-
more than what you expect.
Yeah, people get halfway in and they think, yeah, I'm not digging any more out. That'll do. That's good enough. And it isn't.
And I think this one here is jumping some stages a hell of a lot. Testing water, is that's more advanced koi
Yeah,
keeping.
way down the line.
I'd have to jump all that and say learning how to keep water, because you don't keep koi, you keep water.
No, you don't.
No, you
Well,
don't.
I think you do.
You don't.
You
But
can have
could
perfect
keep a
water,
bath- you
but
could
still have
keep a
something wrong
bath
with the
full of
fish.
water, but you ain't going to put fish in it, are you?
You manage your water,
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, same difference.
but you keep.
Well,
Okay,
Like,
That's
you have
just,
to manage water.
that's
water,
terminology.
but you do keep koi. You certainly do. There's different things that you can do with your water to get different reactions from your koi. So, you know.
Yeah.
But
different fish react, or even the same type of fish react to different waters just for different parameters, hardiness. You know.
yeah, but that's again well advanced.
Again, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But
it
to
is-
say
it
that's
is quite advanced,
that's the
but you've
managing
got
of
to-
your water side of the things, which is again, it's that's more advanced, isn't it? The basics would be, as Vicky said, literally from planning, starting of your pond, where it's going to go. Have you got any plants, trees? I mean, I've got a list of plants, and it's a hell of a long list that are all toxic to koi and ponds.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
built mine straight under a pine tree. I've only just got rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Needles are a nightmare.
really don't like it. Conifers. A lot of people have ponds got conifers around it, and they'll put them in like perhaps rockeries built around the pond with a conifer in it.
Yeah.
And they don't. Ponds don't like conifers being anywhere near them either.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to get back to the water side of things. You've got to consider where you live too, and what kind of water you got in the first instance, because in some areas you might have to put a lot more work into it than in others.
Jigs is putting there. How will you know your water's good enough to keep going if you don't test it? Well, you wouldn't. But that's down the line from. I mean, if you were going to do it as they say, you should build a pond. You should allow your pond to mature. You should allow it to gas off. You should allow your pond before you even enter any fish into it. But start off basic, learn, grow with time. After all, most of us are third and fourth ponds. Exactly.
I think,
Smell it.
I think the basics are, before you actually do anything, is understand your filtration and how important that is, and cleaning your filtration.
Understanding the nitrogen cycle.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
But it's for me, the basics are you fill an hole of water, you throw fish in, and then you kill them, and then you work.
You do.
And so many that, you know, the only way around that is a lot of people don't approach their koi dealer or their fish stockist for advice, because a lot of the time they'll just sell them what they can afford to buy, you know. And you know, especially some of the main street sort of franchises, they'll definitely do that. So a lot of the time you get people that don't actually go to a koi dealer or specialist in koi until they've actually killed a few fish, because they start to think, hang on a minute, I'm throwing good money to bad here. They will either investigate it or put goldfish in and forget all about it. You know, so the basics, you know, for me is filter cleaning, not overstocking, and understanding your filtration. But you will overstock when you first start, because koi are like drugs, aren't they?
Well, one of everything.
Yeah, and every time you go in, you have to buy another one and another one and another one. And, you know, then you've got 60 fish in your 1,000 litre pond. And the next, you know, your little shoebox filter is fucking working overtime. Gets crippled. And then your fish start turning over. And you're like, why? Why is that? That's how it happened to me. That's how I got into it.
Yeah.
A lot of people though,
and a scientist.
a lot of people move on to koi after keeping goldfish. So,
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
an awful lot do, and so a lot of the learning process
But
is
do you think
keeping
that, Tony's,
goldfish.
do you think that, Tony's because a lot of people start off with a wildlife pond or a goldfish pond and then just think, oh, look at that little koi. And then they bang that little koi in, and that little koi in 6 months becomes 30, 40 cm, and they think, crap.
Yeah.
In fucking 6 months, and they're feeding sake on 24.
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. A lot of people, you know, do feed sake, don't they? It's like somebody asking the difference there between a drum and a tempest.
Yeah, and that's brilliant, because, you know, it's that level of knowledge. You know, that's where you start to get people turning the cogs and understanding what equipment's for. You know?
Don't you think that this is a necessary path to go down to lose a few fish to start with? It's only once you get
Not
into
for the fish.
not for the
No.
fish, but it is kind of part of the process.
It does happen.
If you realise exactly what you were getting into to start with, you wouldn't get into it, or an awful lot of people wouldn't, if they realise how hard it was and how complicated it was and how much there is to learn.
I think what a lot of people forget about fish keeping is it's the same with any other thing you're trying to learn. At some point, you're going to fail, and that's okay. You just you have to do the best you can with what you can and improve.
Yeah.
Well, going back to what Crafty said, I mean, I did start off by digging a hole, filling it with water, but I put goldfish in, and they all died, to be honest. So
For me, I think when you get a question like this, I think this is a cliche, and I know everybody's going to go, "My God," but the fact is, forget the book, forget whatever book it is.
Yeah.
But the cliche is
Research.
man, 100%. You don't want to walk into just going out there and digging an old Lincoln garden and putting your goldfish in like Tony did and killing them a fortnight later. You want to look into what you're doing.
No,
You want to know.
I would stress, I agree, research and more research, because now we've got this wonderful thing called the internet. We've got this wonderful thing called YouTube.
I disagree.
When I started, there wasn't any of that, nothing.
No, just books.
I think honestly, if you were going to get anything and get into it, read that book.
Yeah.
And read it from cover to cover. Because I started reading it last night again for another look through it. And there was stuff in there that I thought, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of stuff in there that I still don't know. But I do think...
Very interesting on the history side when you get into that.
But the truth is, guys, people only buy books when things start failing.
Exactly. And that's why I know it's a cliche to say it, but...
You're never going to research when you do your first pond, because all you're doing is putting a hole in the ground or building a few bricks up and filling it full of water. And then you put fish in it and then they die and you're like, I've just wasted loads of money.
Yeah. But getting to the build,
you've done that.
Just get into the build. To do a really good build, if you want to do it first time, you've got to do a lot of research on that. You know, in terms of how big you want it, what you're going to build it out of, what kind of filtration, what space you need for the filtration, how you're going to turn that water around.
I have to disagree with that. I think that's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. Nature don't build, don't fucking research, don't do this, that and over. It just happens and it works. And the best way to imitate any form of pond is nature. Nature doesn't have no drum filter. Nature doesn't have no tempest. Nature doesn't have any aeration.
Nature doesn't usually keep.
Yeah, but you manipulate it
in such a
I know,
small
but
body
you
of
can
water,
still
either.
take those. You can still take those elements from nature.
So I don't think that is a
and
crock
make
of shit. I think it's absolutely right by yourself, and I'm going to argue
30
nothing on this, because you know you're going to put a load of fish in an unnatural situation. No matter what you look at, they're going to go in a small body of water. They're not going to be in the natural situation as
But they
if
can
you get
be.
in a lake or a river and so on. So
They can be.
you do.
They can be dependent. You're talking about keeping koi in a pond. This is not necessarily. This is about the basics. And what you're talking about is an advanced koi pond. It's not the basics.
No, that's not the basics. But what I am saying
Well, this is what we're
to
talking
somebody
about,
that
the
wanted to
basics.
start
The question
off,
is about the basics.
research it. Don't go and dig a hole in the ground which ends up being a shit
100%.
pond. You know, research it to build your pond as well.
100%, but that's an advanced pond.
Oh, no, you're 100% and not a crock of shit.
We're talking about a basic pond, Tony. The question is a basic pond.
Yeah, crock
And
of
what
shit
you've
was
gone
too
to-
harsh, though, Gaz. I mean, that's not on.
What's not on?
Calling what I said a crock of shit.
Well, it is to an element, regardless to whether you think it's harsh or not. It truly is. Well, the question was.
Well, I'm going to carry on disagreeing with that.
Well, that's what it's about. That's what the topic and the discussion's about. We are here to disagree or agree. We're not here to all sing from the same hymn book. We're not here to all have the same opinion.
I would say then the very first basics is to do your research before you even consider anything.
100%, yes. I could not agree more. But the
people
type of,
won't.
But they
Yeah,
don't.
I was just
the
about to
issue.
say that. The
They don't
choice,
do.
the
And then
chances
they only
are.
start to do the research when stuff's gone wrong.
I
When that
agree
pond
with
then
that.
needs to be-
They won't generally, but if somebody's just asked the question and they haven't started, they are liable to now.
They are what?
hopefully.
I missed that. I didn't hear what you said then.
I'm saying majority of people, you're quite right, they won't do the research. But somebody that's just asked the question that maybe hasn't even started a pond or started keeping fish yet, now they've heard this, they probably will do the research beforehand.
I doubt there'll be that many people sit back listening to this, but I think if you go to doing the basics and learn from a basic pond, I think there's a lot to be done and a lot to learn from starting off small with a nature pond, from a nature pond to a goldfish pond, from a goldfish pond to a koi pond, from a koi pond to an advanced koi keeper's pond, which is the stage that you're talking about being through and going to that far, not extreme.
I don't disagree with that, but you'll also get people that don't want a nature pond. They don't want a goldfish pond. They'll go straight in.
I know, but right, this is Jesus. This is the point. The topic is about the basics of fish keeping.
But most people buy a pre-fork pond or dig a little hole in the ground. Most,
you're right.
You know,
which is where we're at. Which is what it was. That's what the gentleman was. The gentleman that put the question in wanted people to the basics of koi keeping. For some reason, a lot of new hobbyists are skipping this part of the knowledge, the basics, and the basics would be.
And it is koi keeping.
Yeah, but you can koi keep with a basic pond if you only wanted to keep 2 or 3.
Well, I think we all start there. I'll go back to saying the basics is knowing how to clean a filter, when to clean a filter, because you know you think you can just do that and it filters and filters and filters and
never clean the filter.
You know,
some people don't. Do they? Some people clearly don't. You can see.
Did you say keep or manage water there, Daz?
I didn't say about water. I was saying about filters.
Some people don't clean them, do they? And you said I've heard people on forums talking about saying I've had my pond for 13 years, never cleaned the filter once.
Yeah.
A lot depending on the filtration, and if you've got it running and running right, a good filter can naturally self-clean.
My old man was like that. But as soon as you put new fish in, you're fucked.
Then you're in in problems.
They can, but they don't thrive, do they? They survive.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
That's the difference. No growth, you get no good skin, the colours all drop off, you know, and that's where you keep koi.
Yeah,
you know that's the difference, you know, and you can let that pond just go through its cycle, feed him once a morning, you know. The water has got such a good volume; it can neutralise what's going on in there.
Yeah,
as soon as you disturb that pond, you know the fucking world breaks out on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it doesn't take much, does it? It only takes for something to walk through it, and then all that crap and shit and years of layer upon layer upon layer turns up, turns over, and that's it. You got fish bellying up. You can even see that like black tarry crap, oily stuff come to the surface, but again,
amber nectar.
Yeah. There are some that would call it that. Yeah. But that's what I was meaning by what I was meaning by having a pond that runs natural. It does and can run and coexist.
Its own balance.
Yeah. That's what I was meaning, Tony, when I said a crock of shit. Because it is possible. There are lakes out there that aren't touched by anybody, that are small bodies of water in comparison to some people's ponds. We used to have down the road from where I live now, there used to be a small body of water in there, and it was probably a quarter of some of the grown ponds that Rick had, but it was a good 5 foot deep. But when you walked in there, we used to lake around it and swim about it and stuff. When you used to go in there must have been 2-3 foot of silt in bottom.
Yeah. Anaerobic.
But that was there was everything you could think of. There was all sorts of fish in there, but nobody hardly ever stocked it. It was all natural stuff there. There was the odd goldfish in there as well. A couple of koi that somebody had put in and dropped in there. But there was full of nearly every type of natural river course water fish in there that just existed and existed and existed for, well, 17, 18 years of my life. And then they built an housing estate in the middle of it,
a lot of
leveled
these,
it all off, put a big pump in it, and everything died. And,
yeah,
and it did,
well, they find their own natural balance, but they will only usually support a certain population, and they will,
But that's, yeah.
You know,
the fittest will live and the weakest will die.
Yeah.
Nature can, you know, support fish life. It's obvious, you know, but it has to build its own ecosystem.
It does, yeah.
You know, and without the ecosystem, nothing's going to thrive because everything balances off everything. But when you're digging a hole in the ground in your garden, you've got no ecosystem. You've got a hole with water in it, right? Because if you could create a big body or a body of water in your garden and keep fishing it, and especially koi, right, you wouldn't spend all this money on filtration. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because eventually, with the small holes of water that we call ponds, like on the right small scale, as soon as you put koi in there and you've got no filtration, and people do, you see them in the shop. You know, they don't tell you, you know, oh, how big's your pond system? Yeah, got filter. Yeah, got a filter. Take the fish out and come back. And it's like 2 weeks later. Where, you know, oh, my fish died. Why? Oh, well, something about filtration. But you said you had filtration. Oh, yeah, but I've got one of these. And then you find out they've got a tiny little epoxy all-in-one filter that's not good enough for a koi. But that's them learning. There's the basics. It's there, right? You don't have the right filtration. All the fish are going to do, especially koi, because they're filthy. They shit so much. They just swim around in their own toilet. It's like shitting down your own toilet and living in it. It's just not going to happen, is it?
But if you want to see a
that can take that and build its own ecosystem, then yeah, it will. But then you've got to look at what happens when you do that. The coloration of your water disappears. It's all good for the fish, but it's not good for the viewing pleasure. You know, and you're not going to spend on some fish if you can't see them.
If you want to have a look at a video where you see a pond which is being dismantled and is absolutely full of crap, the filter, the bottom of the pond with silted crap and everything, you've only got to look at Rick's Munger tunnel pond.
Exactly.
Since they was dismantling that. Now that's proof that you can leave a load of shit in your pond, but if the water's being filtered well and being managed well, those fish will still thrive.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be spotless.
And that in itself is a proof of, again, a saying what I was saying. You don't need to have a massive great big filter, a massive great big this, a massive great big that. That was a basic filter system where muck was pulled from a pond into a settling chamber, let nature take its course, let nature break it all down and recycle it back into the pond. And he'd run that solid for 5 years without ever stripping that filter down once.
Yeah.
Letting nature take its course. Taking, like I said, elements of nature
That's
and
an
running it
ecosystem.
through an ecosystem, which is why I said it's a crock of shit, because I watched that video too.
Yep.
You don't need to. It is better for us as koi keepers. It's better for the koi, for us to see them. But the best environment for them to live in is how they would do naturally, and they grow far, far better in those environments than what they would do in a man-altered environment.
See, that's why I enjoy breeding, because the breeding side of it, like the shrimp, this side, whatever side they are, that side, and all the other fish, I've created a little ecosystem that they're happy enough to breed in.
Yeah. And that's the best bit, when you get them spawning in your tank, breeding naturally. Yeah. You know it's as close to nature's intention as what you can possibly get it to. If they're comfortable enough to, well, that's what I take from it anyway. Yeah. If your tropicals or your fish or your koi, I mean, in my little pond, I've never had my koi spawn, but I did have my shabumpkin and the goldfish in there that I had, both spawned. The koi enjoyed it, the feast, but I never actually got to see any reward from it. But that says to me that you've got a nice little ecosystem running just about right for them fish to think, right, this is a good enough environment to reproduce in. And that normally is when you've got it cock on.
Yeah.
Couldn't have it in my pond though.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. To be fair, I was glad it was only the goldfish. I don't think any of my fish were probably big enough at that time, McCoy, to spawn anyway, or old enough really. But the goldfish were comfortable enough, and that's pretty much what my dad does in Front Garden Pond. It is filtered, but with a good enough filter for a small pond. It's plenty big enough for the small pond that he's got. Does its job, and yet each year it reproduces between 50 and 60 new goldfish each time, and then has to get rid of a load of them because he's got too many, in stock wise. But the fish just, again, this is a bit where there'll be people that'll argue and say, yeah, a pond needs to be this depth and that depth and rest. At the deepest in my dad's pond is 2 foot. At the shallowest pond, it's 8 inches, and it's only 8 foot long by 6 foot wide. Yet his fish, with koi in there as well, thrive completely fine. They freeze over solid. He doesn't cover them. He turns everything off. I mean, I've tried saying, you really should do this. Try doing this. Don't do that. Do this. Do the other. And he's, listen, mate, I've been keeping fish in that pond longer than you've been alive. Stop telling me how to do it, because what I'm doing is working. And they're thriving and they're breeding every year. So how can you argue with that? You can't. So you just got to say, well, yeah, you crack on then and do what you're doing. And it's working. So. But again, like I said, that's probably a 47, 48-year-old pond that is had there, and it works, and it's never changed it. It's kept it simple, and it's done its job. I think that's why. I think that's the basics. When you start small, learn, get it right, and then advance on it. And I get that right, and I advance on it again, like we all have done, and we all probably will do more again. Advance your ponds each time and learn bit by bit. I think the best way to do it, mate, is to start in.
And this is where YouTube can create a false image of what fish keeping's about as well, because a lot of people in YouTube will already be past that stage and being on maybe their second or third pond build. And that's what people are seeing most of. They don't see anyone creating a brand new small little garden pond to keep fish and learning the basics. No. And that's why I think there's potential that there's that step of the basics gone, because people are going bigger early, spending bigger money on fish and understanding what they do.
I agree, they do.
Where would you all say and agree that, because Terence put it in there, I mean, we all aspire to some of the best koi from Japan, don't we? Let's face it, I'm not knocking anybody else's stock or fish. You guys have been doing it far longer than anybody, aren't they? They're banging, aren't they? They are. The fish that they produce year in, year out are beautiful.
Yeah.
And all their best fish come from nature lakes, mud ponds, wherever you want to call them.
I disagree with that, Gus.
In what way? They use them, don't they, to enhance the fish to the quality that they get them from?
Spawn them there.
They don't.
No. Yeah, I know that.
What you've got to remember,
they're not left to do it naturally, are they? I know in that sense. But to get the maximum and get the best from them, that's the environment that they put them into.
Yeah, but that also comes with its downfalls as well. If you was to leave koi in its own, like, to fend for itself in them lakes, right?
And they're supplemented as well.
Yeah, well, massively. More than what people realise, I think. It's and on top of that, you've got a koi will have a shelf life or a lifespan, an end of life cycle, right? If it's growing to them lengths really quickly in them ponds and they was to stay in there, the chances are, right, it's not going to live a massive life in those mud ponds. You bring it into your own environment, through capture and care, right? You can actually prolong the koi's life if you know what you're doing and if you know how to look after fish. Okay, so it's not that they're going to thrive, yet you're going to get a lot of growth out of them early doors, which is why they do what they do. They don't keep all their fish in them ponds swimming around.
No. But I'm just meaning. I was meaning in the sense of they put them in there because they can get the maximum fast, good growth out of them in a natural environment. But as ANC said there, Sakai Fish Farm grows his best koi inside.
It totally does. You know, and this is where you keep koi. You don't keep water. And I'm going to keep coming back to that to make people realise you don't keep water, you keep koi. You know, there was a statement made on Ponderman's newest video and videos before that, where it's a koi will thrive in its own environment, in mud lakes, etc., etc. Again,
but they don't.
It goes on to say they're the hardiest animal, blah blah blah. That's the biggest amount of crock of shit that I've ever heard in my life. The further to the right on the breeding chart that you go, the more fucking susceptible to anything like a hard group. They're not. They need looking after because they're fucking dog shit at looking after themselves.
Yeah.
And there's no truth. There's
you mean through selective breeding and making them weaker gene pools because they cross
hybrid and it's hybrid and interbreeding.
Down there, the more fragile they become, and they do need care. So you know, it all depends where you're looking and how you're bringing this thing into where a fish will thrive, where it will survive, whether an ecosystem will look after it. What is it that you're actually looking at? You get two fish breed and they push out 200,000, 500,000 eggs. All right. The spawn comes, they eat so many of the eggs, spawn comes, 98% of them will die. And then you're left with another load of fish. Right. So it's like, at what point does that ecosystem stop? Does a fish end up killing itself because the water can't handle the amount of fish that come?
Well, that's what had happened, wouldn't it? It would crash. Whatever survived would continue, and that's how nature takes care of it, isn't it? That's how, in the wild. That's what happens. Fish spawn, breed like crazy. The young come along. The older die because they're too weak.
But
the cycle continues, doesn't it?
We want to save the weakly ones that should die normally because they got the best colours.
Yeah. But let's go and put them in a lake.
Yeah.
See how they get on.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Anyway, shall we have a look at some Japanese koi?
Gaz is going to do a bowling up.
I'm going to do a live bowling up here. You won't kill these koi. These are sturdy.
I'd agree with that with ANC as well. Don't overstock your new pond.
ANC made another good point a minute ago, where it's like you start caring the more you start spending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, 100%.
Benny Goy?
Is that a willy warmer?
this is Daz's indoor Christmas koi.
Excellent food. No split
Is that
fins.
Japanese?
It's Japanese, yes. Got 2 eyes.
Was that that looks more like Rudolph than a tancho.
Ginrin Shiramuji.
Ginrin.
Where's the glitter?
It's got some sparkle on it. If you look,
it's got some sparkle on it.
I thought there'd be sequins on that.
Who's been busy?
Ginrin Sankey.
Daz had the opportunity this evening of coming home with an actual net full of actual real fish to get them in a tank, and this is what he came up with.
Did you knit all them while we've been online?
Again, Ginrin.
Beautiful.
Tell you what, mate, if they was in a koi shop, they'd go for a $5 each.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they?
Good.
Mad.
Chiba.
Not sure. I think it's maybe an Achiba. Saragoy again, Ginrin.
Ginrin, Saragoy.
Look at the gin on
Why
that.
they all got sad faces? Oh no, they haven't.
That's got some real gin on that.
Got pearl Ginrin on that one.
And this is my entry for tonight's Crashy Goy.
Nice thing, they must be well kept because they're all smiling.
They are, yes. So all these are available at Daz's Koi Farm.
Are they cat's toys?
No, well, actually, these are going on to Jeff Lee's, and these will be 40 cm by.
You've got to get some more wool then.
That's that. Who made them for you, Daz?
My daughter. She knitted them.
That's great.
Sorry.
I tell you what you should do with them?
Yeah.
You should put some little bit of string through each one of them
Hang
and hang them on the Christmas tree, Daz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn them into Christmas baubles. What do you feed them, Daz?
Koi ones.
Ask you to do you some free meal pellets.
Yeah, they're really low maintenance, actually.
Jig says, Daz, you ain't eating enough trifle, mate. Too much time in your hands. 100%.
I haven't seen him with a trifle tonight.
Yeah, I think they'd make pretty good bubbles, then. Get them made
I
into
might have a
bubbles.
bit of ginger cake, actually.
Could do with some ginger cake. I just had chocolate cake before it started.
Good.
Saskia done a banana cake. It lasted about 2 days. So
Oh, that's nice. And coffee cake as well. That's nice.
yeah, coffee cake's good.
Should we do a bit of co-appreciation?
Yeah,
This is a bit
let's.
where the numbers
Right in the
get
mood.
rather rapid, what they normally tend to do. We'll have a look at some Karashigoi. Who's that?
I've got to put mine in. I might have to do a snapshot of one.
I think I know who's going to
Oh,
win
it's
this
Benji
one.
Sally Harfield's just posted some guy outside of what looks like might be a bit of a boat docking area, pitch black, night fishing, and there's a heron stood outside of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this. So they do, and will still, it will definitely still feed at night time.
Yeah, I've seen them many times, especially on the canal. There's a little bit of low light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he
Right
on
at
the
Boulder's
board?
Brass, right outside of him.
He's on the Broads, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was there a couple of years ago, my mate was fishing. He'd bagged up quite a lot of roach and bream, kept them in his net. He'd throw the odd little one to it, kept it there, got really pitch black, went in, come out the next morning to go and weigh his sack, and the fucking heron had been in his keep net and fucking at the knots.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of zander fishing at night, and I'd always see the herons.
Mm.
A lot
I've never
of
caught a
A
zander.
lot of
I'd
people
love
think
to.
they're sort of solitary birds, you know, but they're not. I've been
Sometimes
at a heronry,
lined up.
at heronry at Blenheim Lakes before now, and around the edge I've seen 15 heron, about 2 meters each between them, all along hunting together.
Bloody
Yeah.
hell.
If there's fish
And they
there,
always say that they're a solitary bird, don't they? And they're not, are they?
No,
No.
they're not.
I've seen my dad's mate had a heron mould, you know, like a pot type one, in his pond to say, apparently they're supposed to keep them away if you have another one there. And
Yeah.
it come down, it were pecking at side of its head at the pot one, like come down to pester it, as if to, you know, to spook it off.
Anyway, that's a nice Karashigoi. That's got a lovely body on it.
it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's Sally Harfield's, I think. No, sorry, I lied. Deborah King's. This is their first one.
Very nice. I wonder what the size of it is.
Let's see. Does it tell us? Around a year old. Sorry, no idea of the breeder. One of our favourites in the pond. Nice fish, though, that. That looked a bigger fish than what it was, didn't it?
Mm.
Good body to it. Good shape. I do like a Karashigoi.
Yeah.
A nice fish. So that's the first two from Deborah King. Now this one is Ashley Robertson, should I say? New Forest, 40 cm.
That's nice. I tell you, Rick does good crashing. He don't breed enough of them, does he?
Well, he
No.
says
He says they're not they're
many.
not the best of sellers. He said,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it will
look
be
at
on
it.
the volume that he wants, mate. You know, you don't sell a great deal of them, but the ones that he's producing, the ones
They're
like that,
banging, aren't they?
Mm.
So that one's who was that son's again? That were Ashley's. Matt Bailey's. Here's a video and some pictures of my Karashi guy from the Thursday Night Live. The bigger one's from Mike at Koi Beginnings, and the smaller one is from Jack at Arefa Oasis. The bigger one is 30 cm, the smaller is 23. So I'm guessing he must have got one of these from. The other question that he's putting on the end of this: can the panel tell me if the darker patches on the bigger one will they fade? Thanks, Matt Bailey. Well, we're going to show you some on another fish to come later on, mate. And my answer is going to be no. And this is the reason why will be, I'll show you when we get to it. But this one is like very similar. Tony will know what I'm talking about with this. That's the smaller one, obviously.
Mm. Got the dark head plate, hasn't it?
The younger fish, though, isn't it? I would have thought that looks a little bit younger. It might, you know, darken. Colour in. But these patches are the darker shades of orange that these have got here. We're going to get to see one later on, which is 80 cm.
I think it'll keep them.
Yeah.
That's a good chunky fish, that, isn't it?
It is a nice fish, yeah, nice body shape.
When you see it on its own isolated, you think it was bigger than 30 cm, wouldn't you?
Mm.
And again, it's a decent body on that one too. Nice depth to it. Just hope that head plate colours in.
Yeah.
Fully scaled. Not so often you see them fully scaled, is it? A lot of most Karashis seem to be Deutsch, don't they?
Mm.
A lot of young koi, you see that on the head though, don't you?
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
So those are Matt Bailey. Was it Bailey? Yeah, Matt Bailey's. And I think the rest of them have been posted. It's Steve G's. Gin rim one.
Oh,
that's
nice.
Pretty.
That is, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Not pretty. Good, good gin, isn't it?
Yeah.
It almost looks silver.
Yeah, it does. That's some nice gin rin on that.
That is very nice. Unusual.
Yeah.
Rick Howarth's pair of. That's
If
nice.
somebody sent in two of his, I don't think he's giving anybody else much of a chance.
That's a good.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a mango one, isn't it? Or a mango Karashi guy.
Yeah, super mango. Looks like it.
That's pale, that one, though, isn't it? That is pale.
It is pale, yeah.
Two nice fish,
Quite,
though.
quite a thin frame, though, for a Karashi.
Yeah, they're slimmer, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's got,
It's a
it's got
younger
Akame as well, because its eyes are red, look.
Mm.
If we get to play that again.
Yeah, like me, quite slim.
They're both Akame, aren't they? Both got red eyes.
Yeah, they've got better eyesight than me.
Yeah, well, you can just see when it turns to the side, it looks like it's got like that pinky red colour to it when you look on lens.
Yeah.
And nice them too.
Mm. Yeah, thinking of it, mine's got Akame.
36 cm and 38 cm. And those ones are Krashikoi bought mid-November from Oaks, already put nearly 2 cm on the biggest, coming in at 35 and starting to fill out. That's for Rick Outhouse. And then we've got Sally Harfield's 36 and 38. See, quite common to have that little orangish spot on them, aren't they? Then, so there's another one there with it. Again, that's. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I like them.
Yeah.
They got good bodies.
Yeah. Bit more volume to them, yeah.
Yeah, volume without being fat.
I think those other two will fill out. He's only had them for since, did it say November?
Yeah.
Young Tosai, get a chance to fill out a bit. Nice fish, them, Sally. Again. Gary Robson's, not specifically of my Akawa Karashigoi, but features a fair bit, greedy bugger. The yellow one is the Ginring Golden Corn. So, there we go, the Karashi there at the side.
Showers.
Fish.
That's a nice shower, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got some lovely fish, hasn't he?
That is a nice shower.
Just distracted us a little bit from the crashy going.
Just a tad.
It's got a couple of nice Sorogoi as well.
Yeah, it's got some lovely fish in there. Goshki as well there. Sorry, we're doing a whole appreciate your pond. Chris Taylor's. Oh, sorry, mate. And it'll. Hang on, where's Chris Taylor's? I'll find him. Oh, what's going on here? Right, so those. Who's a who's? I don't know. Well, that's got to be. Those are Gary's, 100%. And then it says Chris Taylor, but there's no fish. But I know he's posted them earlier down, so I will bring them up anyway.
Oh, Tone, man.
Tony Barker's. Look at that.
Awesome.
He does good skin on his fish, man.
He does, mate, doesn't he?
He's gathered a really good collection of fish, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Look at luster on that.
Yeah. Real nice mango colour on that one.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Got perfect lateral though, all the way down that. Very nice that.
That's the best one yet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Perfect lateral scalations down both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good.
Like that one. Tony, again, you haven't failed. Oh, look at this one. Wow. God damn. Is that a super mango?
Red Tiger.
Is that a super mango karashi?
Red Tiger line, wasn't it?
Red tiger line. Look at that.
Nice.
Sonny, shut up, man.
Expensive fish.
Would be if you bought it at that size, mate.
You would. You won't get many
What's
of
a
them.
banger is that one again? That's a very nice fish. I bet Tony, I'm gonna have to say it, mate. I bet you were gutted when that little shimmy came up, weren't you? I'd have been crying.
Fingernail on it, that'd come off.
Nice them, Tony.
Yeah.
Lee Wrights.
Clean.
Nice and all. Look at scalation on that. Very nicely. 60 cm. It's a clunker, isn't it?
Yeah, there's your Fukarin. Good example of Fukarin there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some nice Karashi guys in this one. Oh, damn you. Oh, Deborah's. Oh, is this a different one? No, that's the same one again. That's not. That is a nice fish. That's a nice little fish. That.
I like them with the different coloured head.
It's clean, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait for another look. There's Chris's. There we go. You need somebody to hold a big board over at top, mate, so you can get no reflection.
That's got some on it.
But that's a good body, that. Good shape on it as well.
Yeah, good shoulder on it.
It's a big girl as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a beast. Nice fish.
Yeah.
There's a still picture there. That's the only worst thing when you're trying to get a photograph. Trying to get one without it shadowing over and get the light reflection on it.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Way round it is use a bright flash.
Use a bright flash.
Yeah.
Deborah's trying to make sure she definitely gets this little fish and we'll bang it again. So then we've got, oh right, well we've got, look at the size of this plonker. God damn.
Oh, that's nice.
63 cm yellow monkey.
Yeah, nice.
Get scales on that, man. That's nice too, man.
Is that the one at your shop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones at my shop.
I thought he was quick there with the size.
I believe it was. I thought I recognised it.
Yeah. He's got a K on the top of his head.
Tattooed on.
This eye as well.
Property of.
That's what? Nisai?
Nisai, mate.
Bloody hell.
Jesus Christ.
A monster.
Yeah.
That was a 53 cm one that we had. The gin was better on this fish, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Lee's, that one. I put the wrong one in. But there you go. There's another nice one. That's Lee Hadfield's.
Mr. Hadfield, we've seen your fish before you did. Oh, look at that.
Smart as.
Yeah. Simon, I haven't finished showing anybody's yet.
Elizabeth,
You've not,
your monkey comes from the bloodline, my love.
Simon says you've not shown mine, which is
authentic.
We ain't got one in there, have we? So yours is not in there, Simon.
Here's one. Authentic Dionysia yellow monkey. The ones that they put their signature to are microchipped.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the certificate comes with a microchip number on it.
Yeah. You think that's the future of koi then, Crafty, like the microchipping?
No, I don't know, mate.
My God, that's nice.
I think because they're so easily like ripped off.
Yeah.
You know, but in my opinion, the Dainichi yellow monkey, when you put them next to another Krashagoi at that age, they out muscle them. The growth on them is mental. The volume and the power that they hold is just second to nothing. It's even next to another Krashagoi, they are fucking nuts. They're worth every penny, in my opinion.
That's a beauty, that one, isn't it?
That is beautiful.
Simon, that's mint, mate.
Yeah.
That's the best fish tonight.
Yeah,
I don't
Hands down, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the Shane didn't twist it need to twist the picture around. The koi should always point down.
That is mint.
Whose is it?
That's fucking.
That's Simon
Really?
Shears. It's his new fish. That.
That's a beauty.
We've got. Dazzers.
There you go, lad. Nice big head, mate. Look at the head on that.
Yeah, it's a bit bigger than that. That was
20
last-
inch.
Is it homegrown?
No, it's Momotaro.
Momotaro, isn't it that?
Yeah. I think it's about 50 cm now.
Simon Shears says it's TBR Karashigoi. No, mate. It's a Nishikigoi Karashigoi. Nishikigoi, even.
What's TBR?
Balding Reefers. That's where he got it from. But it comes from Nishikigoi. So it's a Poland one. A Polish.
I do good things.
Bought from Jack. That's where it was bred. And there is our Dazzers. We got a video of this, Daz. I think,
Yeah,
haven't
it's a
we?
bit. Well, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
feed-
what?
Something went wrong, mate.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch. How about, bear with me. Oh, God.
Don't worry about it, guys.
There somewhere.
Yeah, lost in cyberspace. God damn you, technology.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere, Daz.
Like the fact it's in your recycle bin.
I've got it. So if I make that full screen,
Yeah.
that's from beginning of this season, trying to spawn with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Did you get a spawn?
No, didn't spawn.
Even though she looked heavily like she would do, she didn't do.
I got Benigoy and Akamatsuba males in with us, try and get some more ready Karashigoi, but she wasn't having it. I think she was
Just
only
had 2 weeks in a low level spa.
yeah, very low level.
A nice fish though, Daz.
Yeah, it's nice clean fish.
And then we've got
The males was a bit relaxed, weren't they? They wasn't exactly trying.
Nice
No.
face at that, Gus.
Yeah, he drives that one at the weekends mainly.
I know who these are.
these are New Forest Koi. This is 70 cm and this one is 80 cm. And this was the reason why I was saying that would those come off or drop off. Rick said when he was taking the photo of these that she's always had this little darker mark and it's never faded or changed or disappeared or dropped off.
Yeah,
And believe it or not, I think this is mother and daughter, third generation from their original
Mother's
breeding
better
stock.
than the daughter
I
person.
think. But yeah, daughter is already 10 cm bigger than mother. I
Yeah.
hope I've got that right, Rick. I think that's what he said.
Do you think they're a little bit prone to this though? Because I've got a Momotaro Chag, and that's got a dark mark on it. It's almost like a little bit of Charles Surrey in some of these, and I wonder if it is just underlying in the genetics.
Definitely genetics. That's
Yeah, right. It's not a bruise.
no, definitely genetics, mate.
Yeah,
I've got to admit, I mean, those are cracking. But I think
that one.
Size
Simon.
wise, they're cracking, but I think was it Simon Shears?
Yeah, Simon Shears. That stands out a country mile.
Just a good photo.
Yeah, perfect photo, but cracking fish as well.
where is it gone? Where's it gone? Come on. There it
Yeah.
is. Wow.
Good photo.
That's, I mean, I give that first,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I
So
think
the
it'd be a
photo
toss
just
up
needs flipping
between.
round, doesn't it?
I reckon you did, Simon, mate. I mean, what do you? For me, you did. I like that
Yeah.
one to me. That is mint.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
got it to me as well.
Have it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
give you that, mate, 100%, and I'm pretty sure Rick would do too.
Yeah, I'd give him 50 quid for it.
There you go, mate. You got an offer of 50 quid. You've made 25 quid bonus profit there. And that is the Karashigoi
That's
appreciation.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely
something like
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats, Simon. That is a really nice fish.
Yeah,
mate.
well done, Simon.
What size is it, Simon? Do you know how big it is? I can't remember if it said there.
34 cm, I'd say. It's a guess, by the way.
I thought it'd be a little bit bigger than that, maybe.
What did you say there? Nice one, Simon. Congrats. Did I win 47 cm? That's a good size, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 47. It's good.
Oh, crack at that.
It's a clacker.
Christmas cracker.
Yeah, ANC guessed 45, 47. Yeah, good fish.
Yeah.
And that'd be the end of that. Oh, hang about. Have we got Crazy for Koi and Goldfish would like to have a chat about bottom drains. Next year we are going to make our pond bigger and do have the pipes for my retro bottom drain 3-inch. My question is, no problem buying a bottom drain 4-inch and reduce to 3-inch, or need to buy a 3-inch bottom drain? In other words, can you step down from 4-inch to a 3-inch and still run it through as a bottom drain, or should he ideally go 4-inch all the way through? I'm pretty sure that
4-inch is your flow rates, man.
4-inch all the way through.
Yeah, 100%. If you're going big, don't for the sake of a bottom drain, the price of a bottom drain, go 4-inch.
There you go. I don't have one, so I couldn't tell you. But 3-inch, stepping down, you're only reducing the flow, aren't you?
Yeah, some people recommend stepping down for 3-inch though if it's a long run, don't they, to create more pressure to flush the crap through.
Yeah,
DT Koi says, are there hampers for us, Crafty, in the background?
Like these,
Nice try, but Dave.
always on the fucking steel, isn't he?
Yeah.
He squeaks when he walks, mate.
Your dogs just are about to have their carrots.
That's Crafty's Christmas box, right?
And none of mine, mate.
Chris Taylor says, Gaz, what's the book called that you held up earlier?
I
Need
reckon
one.
it's called
You do,
Koi,
mate.
isn't it?
It's called Koi. Koi. And this is officially the GKP Holy Bible. It's what Daz reads all those bits and bats out of it and everything.
Standard issue.
But I think most of us have got this copy of this book, but it is a really interesting read.
My kids sent mine to a charity shop, never to be seen again.
Did they?
When they cleared
you-
the garage out.
You can
And they're
find
still
them-
alive.
Yeah.
You can find them really cheap on eBay. A lot of copies get sold again and upcycled.
Yeah,
we-
whole
I was
box
lucky
of
enough to
books
have it
went to
gifted.
the charity shop that I didn't know about.
That was the first toy book I had as well.
It is an interesting read. There's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of stuff that a lot of stuff I read last night and thought, oh my God, didn't know that. About the lateral line and such,
Yeah.
which is really interesting to read. A lateral line is a series of little holes all the way along the fish's body, which attach to a tiny little hair follicle, which then attach to the spinal cord or the spinal nerves, which go to the spinal cord, which then send signal to the brain to tell fish when there's displacement or movement in the water, so it can react to other fish or predators. Or it even says they can even tell and the difference between your footsteps and somebody else in the house. They normally get to know through the vibrations as you're walking down to the pond which person it is
Yeah, I'd
via
agree
those
with
tiny
that.
little hairs through the lateral line.
That's true. My fish all swim away when I go down the garden.
I thought that was really interesting.
I've messed it up a bit now because I started an auto feeder this last year, but before that, when I hand fed, then they'd always come to me when you walked to the pond, but they didn't come to other people, funny enough.
Yeah. See, Brandon always said to me, why don't they come up when I come up? And reading that chapter, well, that's the reason. Well, so the book states. That's the reason why. The other one, which I thought was interesting that I read last night, was that they expel 85% of the ammonia from their gills.
From the gills, yeah.
And the other 15% from the
rear end.
From the other end, which was rather interesting.
Yeah. And that's why, like parasites and things. What is it? The one in the Amazon that goes for the gills of the fish, and that's why it swims up the male's urethra.
Yeah, totally.
Your wee in the
No,
water.
thank you. We don't want to go down that one. Elizabeth R says, "Do you move your oxygen diffuser to the shallow end of the pond during winter?" Oh, this is another topic. I was reading that last night again, wasn't I, as well? You can get, in winter months, you can get what's called oversaturation of oxygen in your ponds, which again causes problems for your fish. Having colder water, which... One second.
Turn that music down.
Shut the door.
I don't know if you could hear that music in the background. It was saying that if in colder water, more oxygen there is in the water. That the more oxygen that you put into colder water, the more you can cause. What was it called? Bubble something?
Yeah, it like rebubbles up in the bloodstream, is it?
Yeah, it basically alters the blood in the fish.
Brown blood disease.
It's like it's almost exactly the same as brown blood disease, where that's also caused by high levels of ammonia, which wreck the gills up and all the rest of it. Which were quite. There is some really interesting topics in there, stuff to read. Well worth having a look through. But I don't move my diffusers. No, I'll leave them in the same place. And I have them spotted around as I did in my last pond, purely to keep movement of the water. But I leave it the same all year round. I don't think mine is big enough to put too much oxygen in there.
Christ, that must be.
To be worrying about it.
Yeah, my fish
But
move.
I'll leave mine so it displaces the water to stop it freezing. That's the only reason I leave mine on. But a lot of people do say it's not such a good thing to leave them on and have them too high and having too much, because you're taking the warmer water from the bottom and bringing it back up to the top. But in a shallow pond, I don't really think there is such thing as a difference in that much of temperature between the bottom and the...
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to make the excuses.
Your pond is the shallow end.
I'm going to make the excuses. I literally got in from work and then turned on. So,
yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us, bud. Appreciate it, mate.
Crafty.
Thank you very much for having us, as always. And just so you know, I've dropped a couple of videos on my Facebook, on me.
I'm going to have a look at the pond one.
Yeah.
I suppose. Not brilliant. The next one's going to be the
Have you got it rendered yet, Crafty?
What, my pond?
No, not his personal pond. No, his...
His brother's a lazy bastard, mate.
You still not got around to doing it?
I mean, you could have booked yourself on a renderer's course by now, didn't it, you son?
Auction. So, missed it this weekend, and that because there's so much stuff going on with the shop. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll see literally just a complete facelift inside, and still loads on. But I'm planning, keep an eye on Gaz's channel page, my page, shop page. we're going to do a bumper Christmas auction.
Cool.
So over winter and everything. So it's going to be a good. And I'm going to try and get rid of. That's the wrong thing to say. Get rid of. I'm going to try and get rid of some of the better koi at Tozai, rather than keep them at the shop. So I'm going to give everyone a Christmas treat, I think. Anyway, thanks for having me. Keep your eyes
Thank you for joining us, bud. Nice one.
Yeah.
Take
See
care,
you. See you.
Marek
Crafty.
says he'll be over tomorrow, Crafty.
Marek, if you're in, mate, make sure you tell one of the lads to come and grab us, please, dude. And I'll come out and show you what we've got in, dude. So, anyway, see you
Nice
all
one,
soon.
mate.
Take
Catch you in
care.
a bit.
Cheers.
Take it easy. And yours is not, hang about, yours is not that much deeper. I seen the tape measure challenge. It's like a couple of inch. Elizabeth R says, my shallow end is 2 foot deep and the other end, one is 5 foot deep. Chris says, oxygen diffusers also cool water down, so I switch mine off. Enough oxygen in the moving bed in the Nexus. See, I don't, and I've always left them on. I switched the filter off. I used to switch my filter off because I didn't really see as it were doing it because I weren't feeding them. But now I've left it all running and kept it running. Kept it all running last year. It seemed to be fine like that.
Well, I'm being a bit experimental this year because I've just left everything running as it would be in the summer.
Yeah,
The only thing
see
I've
what
done
difference.
different is the whole pond is covered now with a tarpaulin, and that's kept the temperatures up quite well. So
Have you domed it all off then over the top of your netting and you tapped it all off?
Yeah, I have, and even the shower is in there, so I haven't turned the shower off. It's just encapsulated in the thing. So I'm just trying it out, but the fish seem to be liking it. So yeah. Other years I've never covered, and I've usually turned the pumps down a little bit so that the turnover isn't so much, and I've turned all but one airstone off.
Yeah.
But this year it's all running full pout.
You're going for it.
Not exactly full pout, but the level I would run it in the summer.
Yeah.
Which it's an experiment though, isn't it, Tony? To see
Yeah,
what
yeah, it
difference
is.
it makes
I
from what you've had and how they've progressed.
Yeah,
Years gone
I'd just
by.
like to see how it gets on compared to how it has other years. Because normally at this time of year, I have a group of koi that decide to sit in a huddle in the corner on the bottom, and I've had none of that this year so far.
Yeah, I must admit, mine have huddled up. Look like they're all keeping cosy together, all lined up, busters pond.
Yeah, no, mine seem to be continually swimming all the time. At the moment,
mine huddled up when we had that cold spell, but mine are all around.
To be fair, mine are swimming around. The last few days have been swimming around on the top. In fact, they've even taken a bit of food.
Yeah.
It's unusual because one tank they're huddled and another tank they're all swimming around.
Yeah.
Dave's off to bed. Great live panel, great topics so far tonight. Take care all, and don't forget Saturday Night Live is on this weekend at 8 p.m. We'll be there, Dave.
Yeah.
Good night, mate.
Night, Dave.
Night, Dave. The other thing that I have suffered in the past when they've just sat on the bottom, if it's for extended periods of cold weather and they've sat on the bottom, I've ended up with them with sores on the bottom. It's like having bed sores. But to keep them swimming sort of mid-water seems to be healthier, I think, if they do.
Yeah, I don't think it's natural for a fish to just sit there on the bottom, is it?
No.
Jig says he turns things down and off just to save a few quid for a few months. That's something I still need to. I mean, that's something I still could do. Could turn off my UVs. Mine are still on. I just.
Well, my UV hasn't been on all year, but that's a good point. If you want to save money, you can do that, can't you? But
yeah. I don't know how much it actually makes a difference, though. Whether it's worth it.
Elizabeth R's asking, Chris, so is it safe to turn my oxygen off at 5 foot at the 5 foot deep end? If you've got waterfall movement and you've got an oxygen going in at the shallow end, I would say probably yeah.
Yeah.
You can reduce the amount because there's more oxygen in cold water than what there is in warm
There is.
water.
It's way more dissolves in cold water.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what temperature Elizabeth is at, but
yeah,
probably colder than us, I would imagine.
I would imagine so. Yeah. They've had a fair bit of snow over there, haven't they, over these last week or two, haven't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
Some of the American channels I watch.
Stubbs Aquatics got a whole load coming in as well over in Canada. He was saying that we're getting a lot of did a little short with a load of snow coming down, so he's in for a bit too.
Yeah.
All right then. Anybody else got anything? Took my backy showers down. Because you was playing music.
Is that a crime?
Well, no, it's not a crime, but it will demonetize me. Simon Shear says, took my backy shower down. It's so much quieter, more tranquil, and gained a spare pump. A lot of people seem to be going away and taking off the backy showers this year.
Yeah.
Well, I think a year before prior were bad for a lot of people when it all froze up and a lot of backy showers were freezing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Breaking pumps.
But he's right, they can be noisy. It depends whether you like the noise or not. I quite like the sound of the water coming in from them, but you can make a backy shower that doesn't have a spillway. You can have the bottom layer with a pipe outlet and dip the pipe into the water. You don't get so much noise then.
Now, that's wrong one. Keep the deep water still. There you go. That's still. I was trying to click on that one. Humbercoy says my UV's off and my air is off in the pond. Now then, mate, that might be why. Because you mean you're coastal-ish, colder area, isn't it? I mean, you and your lass were wrapped up like Eskimos over Weekend Garden. But his pond temperature's warmer than what mine were by a couple of degrees. I might give it a try. I might just knock mine off and see. I bet it'll end up freezing instead. Then I'll end up with frost.
Probably.
But, I mean, yeah, but yours is covered now, so should be warmer anyway.
Yeah.
Should. Keep the deep water still, as Marcus Watson says. I think when you start talking about that type of, well, yeah, might be for everybody else. I think when you start talking about depths of ponds having a greater temperature in warmth, you're talking about deep water there. We're not talking about like 3-4 foot ponds.
In fishing experience, you're talking normally 30 foot deep to make a difference.
Yeah. I don't think it's a natural place for fish to go to the bottom when it gets colder. But I think when you're talking about being warmer at the bottom than what it is at the surface, yes, because the surface is getting air chilled. But just below the surface, I don't think you'll find there's very much difference between that and bottom of your pond.
No.
If you're lucky, a degree, half a degree at most. But one worth checking. Get a probe in at deep end and a probe in at top and seeing what difference is. And that's something that Sweet Koyo have been doing. They've been doing, but there's very little difference between the mid, bottom and top.
Yeah. Well, this is a thing people talk about, the thermocline, and you just take it as gospel that is right. But no, very few people ever think to actually test it, do they?
She's been testing it every day.
Yeah, well,
like
that's
the last
good.
2 or 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
It's strange.
The ambient temperature in a quick dome that she's made over, sheeting it off like a polytunnel effect over top.
Yeah, we should check these things and test and try them out.
Yeah.
It's strange. I mean, my pond is quite deep, and I haven't got a probe in the bottom. But what I can do is I can put my probe, instead of in the pond on the surface at the top, I can put it in the return from the bottom drain.
Yeah.
Is pretty much taking that bottom water.
Yeah.
And I've seen no difference in temperature. No difference at all.
There's none.
No, but
And that's
that
over
might
8
be because I'm running the pond as normal and that water's being turned over. So it's being, it's evening out the temperature throughout the pond. And I think that is why the fish is swimming sort of mid-water instead of sitting on the bottom.
There he says, Chris says, with the bottom drain, it doesn't make much difference how deep the pond is, as you're drawing water from the bottom and replacing it back at the top or mid-water, yeah. So we're basically went a difference anyway. Just taking it out and putting it back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, moving your air stones is pointless.
Yes. As is switching your pump
I've
off.
just defunct that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
anybody
think
else
if
got
the-
any
if the-
more
if the
topics
wa-
or questions?
If the water was sort of still, wasn't being circulated in any
then
way,
I think it would.
then
it might
I
make a
think it would
difference, yeah.
stratify.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it's probably still negligible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There we go. Anybody else got anything else they would like to have a chat or a natter or a talk about this evening? If not, forever hold your peace. As the numbers are dropping off rapidly, I'm going to follow suit and drop off with them. Usual thing, guys.
Some more koi.
Yeah, if you're going to read some more of my koi book. Usual thing, guys. If you've been enjoying this kind of content, do us a huge favour. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and until next time, guys, keep smiling. We'll catch you all on the next one.
Yeah.
Take it easy, all.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Good night, all.